We're live, so keep it clean.
Yeah, behave.
Politically correct.
Behave, Tuckings.
But yeah, the Shakur fight is gonna be interesting then. But I don't know. Maybe he's joking. Turkey's joking because that doesn't make any sense.
If he sits there and doesn't do an 18 by 18 ring for like someone like Devin Haney or someone like Shakur or something like that, somebody that's in bed with them, right? Then I automatically know it's a cuck job. Automatically.
A cock joke. I think. But do you think Turkey wants Shakur to lose, or what's going on here?
I think the size of the ring is really people are putting too much emphasis on the size of the ring here.
Okay, but I mean, it's
you just have to run. You just have to run a lot faster. That's how it is, man. You have to run a lot faster around an 18 by 18 compared to 20 by 20, right?
Right. So you don't think it's gonna make a difference?
I think that Zepeda is going to get outboxed, and maybe if he can match, if William can match him, low blow for low blow, because Shakur is going to come with the low blow.
Right.
He may have a shot to make his head dip down just enough to hit him with an uppercut and put him on his ass. But I'm not for sure if William Zepeda is about that, man. He has to match him low blow for low blow, or he doesn't even need to show up next weekend.
That's a good approach. He should go for the ball. I mean, so you're saying Zepeda needs to fight dirty, right?
I'm saying that he does need to fight dirt with dirt. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting approach. People in the
because
chat.
If he doesn't, he's going to fall behind on the scorecards and he's going to get outboxed.
Yeah, that's true. So, do you think Turkey's message about no more Tom and Jerry fights? Do you think that's gonna affect how Shakur fights, or Shakur's gonna be like, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna do whatever I want?
I remember I once heard this video one time. He said they were talking about Shakur. He's a runner. He's a track star. I didn't pay for it. I want a refund.
Yeah.
So what I want to say about that, I think Turkey, he heard what Crawford said at the press conference with Canelo. He said, no one's going to tell me how to fight because I've been doing this my whole life. Right. And Stevenson himself has said, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to win. If I got to slug it out or if I got to box. So even though they're getting hints at you guys need to switch it up, they're standing firm that they're saying, hey, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing if it gets me the win. So I put the tweet right there in the chat. So, anyone wants to see it. But Turkey put out a tweet saying that a special surprise for Stevenson next week is a ring that shrinks as the fight goes on. And I don't know how that's going to go about, but it looks like Turkey he listens to what these guys say. And he goes, oh, if you still want to fight like that, cool. There's another way. I'll get around that. Now it's going to be like, I think someone else brought it up earlier. It's going to be like Super Smash Brothers. The ring's going to be changing as the fight goes on. It's like a video game. Turkey's a big fan of video games, right? So I think this falls in line. I think it's going to be interesting. I really want to see how he makes a ring that shrinks as the fight goes on.
I was thinking of like Mortal Kombat.
That would be unsanctionable, by the way.
You kick the opponent onto the next stage, like you kick him off a balcony and like you.
Yeah, he falls through
Maybe
some
like
glass
if
and
you
they have to
knock him
fight.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're
Or if
alive.
they have some type of shockers, right? If they had like shockers on the turnbuckles where the padding's at.
Right. Yeah.
No,
Perfect.
you have alligators. You have alligators. You have a mod with alligators that closes in.
No ropes. Right. Alligators on the side.
The Mortal Kombat
You
pit.
have a communist commissar with a machine gun that like will shoot you if you get to if you start
Yeah, like
running.
a Soviet with a fucking a gun there. I'm gonna post a tweet so everybody can see the tweet. Turki Alashikh says we have a surprise for Shakur Stevenson on Saturday. A ring that shrinks as the fight goes on. Shakur says he's ready to deliver a beatdown on William Zepeda, and I know the Mexican is prepared for the challenge of the biggest fight of his life. Okay, so yeah, what is that? Shrink a ring?
The
that
Mexican?
shrinks.
He don't even got a name. That's crazy.
No. He said before that he said William Zepeda. But then he said the Mexican. But yeah, a ring that shrinks. Is he joking? Is he serious, guys?
No way he's serious. I think he's just trying to light a fire underneath people's asses to not run around and not throw any punches. I think that's his main thing, is to light a fire underneath your ass. Has nothing to do with actually having a ring that shrinks. That would never be that would never work in any sanctioning body or any athletic commission wouldn't permit that. Because it's illegal as fuck.
How's that illegal? If the ring doesn't get to like 4x4, right? Say it goes from 22 to 16. Every 3 rounds they take off 3 feet or something like that, or 4 feet, and it still ends up being a regulation size ring.
You have to make it regulated. You have to regulate it before the contract is signed, bro. He can't just up and do that, bro. And I end up with a freaking lawsuit.
What is the regulation?
If it's an 18 by 18, that's exactly what the ring is, bro. No shrinking it.
Well, can't any size ring get regulated?
At 22, and then it goes down to 16 by 16.
It could happen. We have the technology.
I think that with the money talks, right, and with enough enthusiasm and imagination that someone like the Turkey does have, because he is a video game enthusiast. We were talking about it off air, right? A lot of his promotion is it's adjacent to video games, right? He had Ngannou versus what's his name, Anthony Joshua. He had what was the game? The Streets of Rage. They launched the boxing game, the Undisputed one. They launched another game, the SNK, the Fatal Fury, City of Wolves. They did a bunch of promotion behind that. So it's like very, very, very video game adjacent. He's into that shit. So I could see him trying to do something like this. Like everybody's bringing up, like Mortal Kombat levels. You uppercut them, they fall through the level, and then now they're in another stage, and at the bottom there's spikes. Fuck yeah, let's run something like that, bro.
Now, if you did that in a tournament fashion, a tournament-like fashion, I would be more intrigued. But if it's like one fight, you're just doing all this crazy shit, and it's like
he is running tournaments as well.
It's like Mario Kart, bro. It's like Mario Kart with all the stupid shit going on the side of the race. And, you're not going to be able to focus on all the bullshit that's going on.
The ring's gonna get a little bit smaller, bro. There's not gonna be a fireworks show. Relax.
Yeah, what's next?
The ring don't need to be too big, anyways. What are you trying to camp inside the ring? Like, what the fuck? We're trying to watch a fight. We're not.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to watch a fight, not somebody take 10, 15 minutes to redo the ropes and the turnbuckles in between rounds. Okay.
I don't know. I think 16 by 6 is too big, if you ask me.
One by it takes it. You're supposed to be. I think there's 1 minute between rounds, right? So it would take too much time for him to shrink that ring.
I believe you're doubting in the power of money.
No, I'm doubting the power of ignorance that comes from Turki Alashikh, who hardly knows shit about boxing in its totality. Not
You
just
don't
two
like
sluggers meeting in the middle of the ring.
What don't you like about Turkey?
Well, let's start off the countless robberies that's gone on underneath this promotion. While when everybody's saying, "Oh, he's the best thing to come around," let's see, poisoning fighters' water. Let's start with a couple of clown shows that he's put on recently, where it's just been blatant robberies. This guy's just an absolute clown. I don't like the Saudis.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I remember a few fights, but let's hear this.
Body. Let's talk about.
Shiraz. Okay,
Let's watch
the Shiraz, the Francis fight.
Badu Jack versus Rivera. Yeah, that was a freaking robbery.
I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as you claim it is. And and him saying that bosses shouldn't be running, I'm all for that. Best comment I've ever heard.
But look, Bucho, they get caught up in this middle ground, right? There's no such thing as a middle ground. There's only extremes. Either you're rock'em sock'em robots or you're a runner, right? But there's guys who use their footwork, but they don't exaggerate it to the point where that's their whole defense and that's the whole, where they're disengaging from their opponents. Say someone like Jai Pataya, he has the skills and the abilities to be one of these back foot bitches where he's kind of like just bouncing away from his opponent and just, but doink, like Food TV says, just tapping him and moving around like that, right? But instead he uses his skills to go in and out of range, and he attacks his opponent. He's a very aggressive fighter. Lomachenko was the same kind of guy. So is Usyk, right? They use their footwork and stuff to step around their opponents, make small spaces, and then capitalize and beat up their opponents. We don't want to see what we're talking against is not that. We're talking against someone like what William Skoll did against Canelo, what Devin Haney did against Jose Ramirez. That was lame. That was pathetic. You guys shouldn't be getting paid that much to be doing that. And if he wants to get his money's worth, there's nothing wrong with that, bro. It's his show. And if they don't like it, they don't gotta fight on his show.
But here's my issue though, Settlers. He's enforcing the rules.
Like if a guy runs around, don't give him the round. If he runs, don't give him the round. Like it's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not complicated. You don't need Mickey Mouse.
Or give him a warning. Give him a point deduction. Like have the referee actually, do their fucking job.
Yeah. In Saudi Arabia, you control the commission. The referee is your cousin. That's how it works over there. Like just if the guy runs, don't give him the round, and then within a couple of years, everyone will stop running. It's very simple.
Yeah, dude, this is boxing, not track and field. Like, what the fuck?
It's either that, or you can have a jihadi warrior of Allah with a sword that cuts your head if you start running. It's either the one or the other.
Doesn't make any sense. I think if you lost your mind.
Yeah, we might as well have chopping blocks, right, to behead the runners when they come out of the ring after the fight, right?
Dude,
public execution.
There's nothing wrong with using your feet, bro. But it's a boxing match. You gotta use your feet to go forward sometimes.
Sometimes,
but sometimes you can go forward. Because you're going forward doesn't necessarily mean you're winning, especially when you're not being effective.
No, bro, but you got to try to win the fight because you're in a fight.
Learn to cut the ring off is my counter to that.
It's like very, very simple, bro. It's like an amateurish style. To fight like that, dude, it's like you're trying to outpoint your opponent. And when the professionals, that works for the Olympics, right? But that's not the professional leagues. The professional leagues, they call it the purge business, bro. You're trying to hurt your opponent. Professional boxing is a spectator sport, If no one's watching, then you don't get paid, and it doesn't matter what your record is. No one cares, right?
Listen, bro. Brian
So
Harkin.
you gotta be able to
was
entertain the
701, bro. Brian
So you
Harkin
see,
was
everyone's
701,
seen Gladiator, right? Everyone's seen Gladiator. Everyone's seen Gladiator. You know what I mean? They
Brian
tell
Harkin was
what's that dude? Shut the fuck
701,
up, bro. Shut the fuck up.
701, bro.
Oh wait, is that Pigeon?
701, bro.
Okay.
701, bro.
That's Pigeon, bro.
Oh, it's Pigeon.
What about Harkin, bro? What about Harkin, bro?
Pigeon's here. He's already getting into it. Go ahead. Who's
Pigeon's a legend.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. He's
So in that movie Gladiator, we all seen it, right? They take what's his name, Maximus, up to the leader's quarters, right? The guy who owns him and shit. You think some weird shit's gonna happen, and he says, "You're good, Spaniard, but you're not that good. You could be great. You gotta own the crowd, bro. You gotta entertain the crowd. That's what it is. That's what it's a spectator sport, bro."
Good
If
point.
they remake that movie, Maximus will tell him, "But boss, I'm slick. I got the athleticism.
Yeah.
I got skills."
Somebody's asking Pigeon what he's doing. Did you kick him out?
Just for a minute, he's no good.
Oh, you know, Pigeon. He'll come in, troll for a couple seconds, and he'll come, then he'll just leave and might come back. You never know.
Yeah, but the thing about running is first of all, like I will disagree with something Never Sober said, and that is that over the past 2 decades, a lot of guys have been getting paid a lot of money to attract no eyeballs. So there is a bit of a precedent. Because think of how many boxers have been paid absurd amounts of money by barely selling any pay-per-views, right? So you're ignoring the money laundering aspect of all of this.
Money laundering.
Yes. No, you are.
Look at what's going on now with the Saudi cards, man. You have like these people getting paid flat fees, right, to partake in their events. But where do these all extra buys go? Who gets the fucking money?
Who get the money?
What's up, Pigeon? Go ahead, bro.
Yo, my reception's terrible, bro.
No, we hear you.
Good, bro. It is really bad. So, like, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm just saying that I think Shakur's overrated. I think everything about him's overrated. And, like, he's beating up guys that are 56 in the world that are electricians and shit like that. And I'm just not hyped on Shakur Stevenson, man. And I think this guy needs to.
What about the Zepeda fight? Are you excited about that fight?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think Zepeda will do well in the fight, but we've been discussing it. I was on a panel earlier, and we think it's going to be a fixed fight, bro. So we think that Zepeda.
The judges, or you mean the ref, or he's gonna take a dive, or what?
That's exactly what I think, Bucho. I think it's going to be paid off. So I just think,
maybe.
Like Zepeda.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Zepeda's career's sort of coming to an end. He wants to get big paydays. And you always have to remember, listen, every continent on the world, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, Europe, South America, Mexico, Peru, Chile, all these guys have people putting bets on for them in their irrespective countries to make money. So if you throw a fight, you can make in excess of 20 million just through a few people. You can triple, probably 10 times your fight purse. So I think I don't want to do Zepeda dirty, but I just want to say that I don't think there's been a fair boxing fight. I don't think there's ever been a fair boxing fight, bro.
Maybe. I mean,
exactly.
Maybe, but
fact is, bro, it's all fixed.
Look, every fight, bro. Every fight, you already know who's supposed to win, dude. Every fight when it's announced, we all know who's supposed to win, right?
So you guys are saying that Shakur is supposed to win. Well, not you guys, but whoever agrees with Pigeon, that Shakur is they want Shakur to win. Turkey wants Shakur to win. Why?
Yeah.
But why? Oh,
I
because
just
of the bets. Yeah, the bets. Okay, I guess.
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
but you know why
It,
I'm questioning
yeah.
that? Because in terms of entertainment value, why would you want to keep this guy around just to screw over people with bets?
But how do you know? How do you know that the Arabs are not betting on things? The Chinese, all these people that are on the back burner. Listen, 11% of the United States is owned by the Saudis. It's up to 20% now. So one fifth of the entire United States economy is owned by Riyadh Season, the Middle East. So how do you know that they're not using Shakur? Like, people are gonna bet on him, easy win, and then it gets flipped. Like Sobers knows what I'm on about. It's fixed, man. Everything is fixed.
Somebody in the chat
I'm
says, "What the fuck is going on here?" Somebody in the chat.
yeah. There's something. I don't
Do you
think you
think
said.
Shakur is a CIA asset, Pigeon? Do you think he has been drilled at Langley? Is he an expert in infiltration and subversion?
He is a ambassador of Riyadh Season. That should say enough, man.
Yeah.
Facts, Telk. That's facts, and Telk's bringing some facts because if you look at the whole situation, like what Telk's just said, he didn't have to explain anything. But Riyadh Season, it's in the title. I love Riyadh Season. It's way better than Al Heyman. It's much better than what's been going on before, but it's still corrupt, bro. It's still corrupt.
Boxing
So
has
what do you
always
think
been
of-
corrupt, though. Like that is this is not new. This is like the normal. This is what boxing is. It's a very corrupt sport.
Yeah,
And so it's
that's
also
true.
very easy to be, because there is only two people involved. There is like fighters fight 3 times or 2 times a year. It's very easy to fix a boxing fight compared to, let's say, football, right? Like it's very.
They do it in La Liga every 2 or 3 seasons. Like, I used to live in Cadiz in Spain, and every 2 or 3 seasons in La Liga, you would get a result like Real Madrid would lose 4-0 to like a small team, like from the third division, and
I
it
mean,
was always
you're referring to Alcorcon, no?
see,
I
it's
remember
true.
that.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is
yeah.
how it works, right? Okay, when the result is what I like, it's real. When it's something I don't like, it's fixed. It's very.
Yeah, c'est toute la situation, tout le monde pour le foot. C'est normal.
You're speaking French now, man.
Oh, sorry, bro. But sorry. What I was
PSG, speaking of
mon
that,
ami,
PSG can go screw itself in the Club World Cup, by the way.
Emigre in Paris.
No. I was just gonna. I can explain it better in French than I can in English. I was just gonna explain that, like, when the Cadiz match happened, Alvarez and Getafe, we had all these teams, and like you only have to like do a 7-1 bet, and you flip that bet, and people could be making hundreds of millions of pounds. And this happens in boxing as well, you know. It happens. It would be very naive to think that it doesn't happen.
My conspiracy theory about bets is that I think that a lot of small banal things are manipulated for betting. So, for example, in basketball, I think that who takes the ball out of bounds first is manipulated most of the time by the referees. Or who wins the jump ball. Like, I think those things are definitely manipulated. Yes,
I think you're right.
Another thing you have to keep in mind is most betting activity worldwide takes place in Asia. And we all know, that a lot of Chinese riot money and a lot of Yakuza money is involved in betting.
Facts. Yeah, you're right. It's like my father was in Hong Kong, Andreas. My father was in Hong Kong like 15 years ago, and it was all fixed back then. It was fixed in the 80s, like the Hong Kong, the Macau, the Malaysia. It goes on in Indonesia now. It's rampant, man, and I don't know why people still think that things are not. I don't want to sound like I'm putting a dampener on the planet, but we gotta be objective and like think like, listen, this may be fixed. I think maybe 2 out of every 5 fights are fixed.
Okay, can you give an example of a recent fight that you believe is probably fixed? Can you be a bit more specific?
Yeah, definitely. If I'm looking at recent fights that were fixed, I could probably pick 7 or 8. But if I was gonna pick one, God, which one would I pick? Which was the most obvious recently? I think the Bivol-Beterbiev rematch was fixed because I thought that it looked very similar to the first fight, but I think everybody knew that Turki Alashikh was gonna want Beterbiev to win the first fight, so everybody lost money on that first fight. They went with Bivol, and then because of the Islamic dogma, I think the second fight they thought, oh, we'll bet on Beterbiev again to try and make a small profit, but then Bivol won. So I think
the
that
manipulation haven't happened in your. So do you think it was on the judges level? Were the fighters involved?
Yeah, I don't think it's the fighters so much. I think it's the Andres. I think it's the judges, my friend. I think it's the judges.
So you think that Turkey sent the order down that Bivol is winning this fight?
Yeah.
How many times is Turkey going to go to a fighter's corner and yell that they're down on the scorecard? How many times is he going to do that?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's
when
what
I
I'm saying.
think of blatant robberies, I don't even think about professional boxing. I think of the Olympics, where I think the most blatant robberies in boxing history have happened. But yeah, I mean, results are manipulated. But I'll give you another example, right? This is why I often say that we treat boxing the wrong way. We treat it as a sport, and on the amateur casual level, it is something that you can go to a gym and do. But on the professional level, it's not really a sport because the two sides are never equal in terms of victory conditions. It's asymmetrical. Yeah. So for the A side to lose a fight, a high-profile fight, it basically like they have to fuck up beyond the level of any doubt. Any relatively close fight, the A side is going to win. And the A side is going to have advantages in they're going to pick the ring size, they're going to be allowed to do drugs that the other guy will not be allowed to do, they're going to have favorable judging, etc., etc. So for me, I treat it like something that is between a circus and a sport. That's how I approach boxing.
Yeah, I think that's the
Saudi
same.
explicitly is a bad idea because they don't even have a real commission over there that does drug testing at all.
Have you heard about
UFC
the IBO
fights in Saudi are also very questionable if you've seen any of them. Like it always seems, the Muslim fighter always seems to get some type of extracurricular advantage somehow when they fight in Saudi.
I'm not an anti-Muslim, by the way. I don't actually believe that. I don't actually believe that the Muslims do get the advantage. I just believe it's just sport betting, and I think wherever the money goes and wherever the money goes down, I don't think religion even comes into it.
It's not about them being Saudi because, for example, like in the US, if you're fighting like an American fighter that is being pushed, like you're also at a disadvantage. And in England, God help you, if you're fighting an English fighter. It's not about them being Muslim. Yeah.
English fights, Andres, are mainly fixed. I don't think there's anything here which is not fixed. Like I've watched amateur fights and they've all been fixed. You know, I've been to small events where there's been 10 people, Bucho. I've been to events, listen to this, Bucho. I've been to events where there's been 10 or 20 people in England, and they fixed the event because the guy was more cooler or known than the other guy. Yeah.
About small events, or what are you talking? Like,
Yeah, I went to a Bilston event. It was a Bilston boxing event, and it's like a small industrial town, similar to what you get in Spain, like on the outskirts of Sevilla or Jerez. It's like a small little industrial town, and there was about 50 people at the fight, and the one guy won the fight, but they gave it to the other guy that was more popular in the UK town or in that village. So they give it to people that is more popular.
The lower level the event, the more likely it is that it's fixed. Because if you look at when they do arrest sort of like criminal groups for sports betting scandals, it's very often like they manipulated the score of the second division Finnish league game. Like that's what they get them for usually. They don't.
I don't know. I would argue the opposite because I watch a lot of low level boxing, and I see the opposite happening more often than not.
Wow.
that's money involved.
Yeah, because I watch like Noches de Boxeo. There's this Puerto Rican version. There's even the Spain version on YouTube. Different variants of Mexican boxing in Spanish on YouTube. What is there? There's Robbery Box TV. There's what else is there? IBA
it's
boxing.
called robbery boxing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen more robberies in like the more mainstream stables than the smaller ones.
When I say robberies, I'm talking more about, for example, you see a lot of questionable judging on high-level fights. I don't think you see a lot of dives on like high-level fights, but you do see dives on amateur stuff. That's what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like the other day, we were watching a live stream which was like African boxing, whatever, and like you could see that like the two guys would be completely mismatched, and one guy would very clearly just take a dive for the money. He would do a Robert Helenius. That was like 80% of fights on that program.
Yeah, that's Robert Helenius.
Yeah.
All right, let's move away from this topic of corruption. I think people want to, in the chat, they want to move on. What do you guys want to talk about here? Crawford-Canelo?
Are we live? Are you transmitting this?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Did you say the N-word like you always do?
I never say the N-word. I don't even know what that word is. Is it nuance?
Nuance.
Is it Nate?
Nuance.
Yes.
Yeah. Any topics? Anything you guys want to discuss?
Maybe we should discuss the Crawford fight against Canelo.
Okay, what are your thoughts on this fight? I just before you start, I just want to tell you what I've noticed is a lot of people that are picking Crawford now, and before that they were saying it was a mismatch. Now they're saying that Crawford's gonna win. So
his stomach is too fat and blobby. He looks like a blown up guy. There's a small guy that's gone up to like a big guy. He only has Victor Polstor on his resume. I think he's going to get stopped in about the 9th round. I'm predicting him getting knocked out because I don't even think he looks as durable as idiot like Billy Joe Saunders. Like Saunders was a much more durable guy probably than Crawford. I can't see anything about Crawford to trouble Canelo, Bucho. Bucho, I don't think Crawford can do anything in that fight. What's he gonna do?
Well, I'll tell you what. some people are saying is saying he has better movement, so his legs are better, so he's better moving around the ring, better reflexes, faster. He has better stamina, so he's gonna come on hard in the later rounds. Canelo's gonna be tired. They're saying Canelo is very slow now. His punch output is very low. He's on the decline. Yeah, I think that's about. That's what I
He's
can
like
remember.
It's like Canelo's a much younger guy as well. He's not even that old. It's kind of like he's never been
But
hurt.
blacks age
Really?
differently.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what
that's not fair because Canelo's actually been to wars and actually fought, better competition overall.
You're saying Crawford has had it easy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm saying he has it easy. So, like, if anyone's the fresher fighter, it's definitely him. Period.
Interesting. Yeah, that Golovkin fight, the second one was crazy, man.
Canelo is extremely durable. I have never seen him seriously be hurt by anyone. But eventually it cracks. Like, here's the thing with Canelo is he has all the miles on him. He's clearly super bloated muscle-wise. Like, he's outside of his natural weight division. Eventually, he's not going to be Canelo anymore, and someone is going to knock him out. And one of these guys is going to be lucky enough to get, like, the boost from that, right? I think that's why Crawford is doing this fight. He's trying to bet that this will be the fight where Canelo stops being Canelo. But he will be wrong.
But that's a big gamble, man, no?
Yes, he's super old, though. He's super old, though. I think this will be like Charlo. It would be a relatively uneventful decision for Canelo. And everyone's going to forget about it in 2 weeks. That's what I think will happen.
Does Canelo have to knock out Terence Crawford? Like, if he wins by decision, is he going to get criticism? No,
yes, but he's going. If he knocks out Crawford with a jab on the first round and Crawford is launched outside of the arena, he will still be criticized because he's Canelo. It doesn't matter. Like, people don't like Canelo. So what's the best
possible outcome? What's the best possible outcome for Canelo? Is there one?
No, Canelo loses either way. He loses with morons on the internet. In real life, he wins constantly. But with morons on the internet, Canelo will always lose.
Okay. Does anybody disagree or agree?
Yeah, I agree with everything that he said. Completely everything. To be honest, you can't disagree with that, really. But what more is
people? I can name a lot of people that say that this fight shouldn't even be happening, let alone.
Yeah, that's true as well.
I mean, he has fought Charlo. Like, Charlo is a more egregious fight than this one, I think. At least Crawford is legitimately very good, even though it's not his weight class.
Stoppage. I do see a stoppage. You may corner him in the night.
Okay, so you see this by stoppage. Telkines, what's your prediction?
Watch these guys through training camp before I make that assessment, because if you never know, somebody could end up slowing down during training camp or speeding up. So I have to watch more. But currently I'm kind of leaning. I'm kind of in between right now. But you will hear from me as we get closer to the fight.
Okay, but so far it's not an official prediction, but give us what you think is more likely to happen.
I think Crawford's going to come in with some loaded gloves, and I think he's going to look to knock out Canelo.
Damn. What are you looking at? What are you looking
about?
For
Some Louis Resto. I'm talking about some Louis Resto, Billy Collins shit.
What are you looking for in those training camps? Like, what are you looking at? Like, that might make you
speed, how fast they are, like his hand speed, shadow boxing. I do not subscribe to making an assessment on a fight without first seeing how they train. That's just how I am with every fight, except if it's like a mismatch, of course.
Okay. People in the chat saying Tyrone saying Canelo is outpunch Crawford. Watch. I think he says he's gonna outpunch him. Thunderdome, shout out to Thunderdome. He says they might give a bullshit decision, but Buddy's only gonna try it in the last couple of rounds at the best. So that's possible. He might try to steal the rounds. He might try to pull off a fucking Sugar Ray Leonard thing with Hagler, remember? Trying to win the last seconds of the round.
I
No,
have
Canelo
a
has to be
question
careful.
for Siran when you're
Yes.
done, Bucho. I
No,
have a
go ahead,
question
go
for
ahead.
Siran. You have mentioned the loaded gloves subject with Crawford quite frequently. What proof do we have of this? I'm not even disputing it. I would just be interested on what the evidence is.
The Venetian fight.
Do we
And
have
you'll see
pictures
what
of
I mean.
this? Like, when can I find physical,
The videos.
like photographs of this? Yeah.
Oh. Did anybody make a video about this? We actually analyzed it.
It is very strange for both of the gloves to explode, right? Unless I'm ignorant on the subject.
Yeah, and then months down the line, he had exploding glove in a what was it, in sparring? Remember?
Yeah, that's true. It blasted up sparring. I think that was years ago, 2018.
No, yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah,
How many
that's true.
coincidence?
100%.
The thing about loaded
And I
gloves,
think
I have always
some people are
suspected.
forgetting who backs a Bud Crawford, right? That he's a snack fighter. You know, that he's gonna go in there juiced up, loaded gloves, and he's gonna look to do some off the wall shit against Canelo.
I have always thought that given, how you can go to your average hardware store and you can buy all sorts of exotic substances these days, there must be ways to load your gloves without people realizing,
Yeah.
if you're inventive enough, right?
They used to put plaster of Paris in it and water, but now you're right. There's so many different chemicals where you can press a little button. It's the size of a pea, and it probably blows out. And this does exist in this modern age, very, very much so.
In the
Yeah.
chat, Ryan Taylor is asking, what about Canelo Alvarez being on PEDs?
He is on P. They are all on PEDs. Next question.
Remember when people used to ice their wraps and other crazy shit?
Every
No, I mean, there's so
professional,
many ways.
every professional athlete is on PEDs because it's necessary.
Yeah.
You might as well say that they're wearing shoes and boxing gloves. Like, of course, they're on PEDs. Like, this is a meaningless statement.
Alan R says these motherfuckers talking James Bond shit. So yeah, apparently some people in the chat, MI5, exploding gloves. I guess they're thinking, well, you guys are just picking on Terence Bud Crawford here. What about Canelo, right?
I mean, I would never pick on the guy that conquered the GOAT, Victor Postol. So I don't know why you guys would say that.
I mean, who are you guys picking in the chat? Let's get down to the.
When I was a small child, my mother would tell me that if I was a bad boy, Victor Postol would come and win a 12-round decision by jabbing against me. So.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I think I remember I said that story as well.
Oh, that's the quote of the day. Let's go for the quote of the fucking day.
They called him the Baba Yaga, right?
Yeah.
Victor Postal, man. Even the name sounds like Jesus.
Is that one of his biggest wins, guys? And if so,
hey, no,
performance.
Bucho out of his own mouth. That's his biggest win.
Who cares about what we think? Like, he said it, right? Ricky
This
Burns as well. I mean,
close.
listen. They're good wins. Ricky Burns. I mean, sure, he had to go to the
The great Ricky Burns.
guy. But that's always difficult to do, especially when you're young. You're going to the UK. You're gonna, beat one of the champions. But I mean, to say that it's an elite win or one, like, it's not Golovkin, right? It's not like he was fighting a bigger guy. He was probably the bigger guy. So
I think his best win is Porter, personally, because Spence was so compromised from the accident. I think Porter is
But
the
Porter
best.
was he retired right after that too.
Fight. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, but Porter, he himself retired right after that fight too. When Crawford got his hands on him, he was like the last dude to hit the. He was like the caboose on the train hitting this girl. Like, you know what I mean? They put
I
Sean
know,
Porter all around all the PVC already.
His resume is very weak, though. That's my point. Like there is no good win that he has that does not have 50 asterisks on it. So yeah, it would probably be Porter or Spence if you believe Spence was still himself, which I don't.
Okay, so you guys are saying he has a weak. Some of you guys are saying he has a weak resume, but he was considered the number one pound for pound boxer like 2 years ago, maybe. And he's still maybe top 3 in a lot of people's pound for pound list. So what do you think that is, though? Because you're saying he has a thin. Yeah.
That is projection based on eye test, but there is no. With Crawford, he has never been seriously tested by anyone that is on his level. Not that there were a lot of people on his level around that weight either that he could fight. Like, would you say he ever ducked anyone? Because I don't quite remember him ducking anyone.
I don't think he ever ducked anybody.
Well, he didn't defend undisputed. There's that argument.
But that because he's moving up in weight to fight Canelo, right? They would say that.
No, that was before he fought Mad Rim Job. Remember? He didn't defend his undisputed against Ennis.
Yeah, but Boots would have knocked him out. Like Boots Ennis would have knocked him out.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But he moved up in weight, so why did he have to stay at 147? There's nothing that says that he has to stay 147. As a matter of fact, some would argue that him moving up to 154 is maybe even more dangerous than fighting at 147.
Definitely, he loses the size advantage. Definitely. I mean, Crawford is daring to be great, although when you're paid 50 million, how much are you really daring? Like, if he could show up, lose in the first 10 seconds, and he would still win because of his bank account, cha-chink.
Yeah, because he only made 9 million for the first 22 fights, Crawford. Sorry to interrupt you, Andreas, my friend, but I was just going to say he only made 9 million through Bob Arum for the most of his career. So, like, Crawford was always weighing up Canelo for this super fight. What's his name? Ricky Fielding, or I can't remember his name, the English guy that fought him who took the knee. Rocky Fielding.
Ricky Burns.
Rocky Fielding. Yeah.
No, Ricky Burns. Rocky Fielding, the guy.
Canelo.
Yeah, he made 7 million. 7 million?
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Canelo is feeding families all over the world.
Out of all things.
Fuck UNICEF,
Bro, like, how do these guys talk shit about Canelo? Like, he's feeding the homeless here.
He's fucking moving the GDP from Come on.
Yeah. Rocky Fielding made more in one fight than Bud Crawford up until 2 years ago. His whole career. That's crazy.
That is what I say about Canelo, where if you look at Canelo and you compare his resume to that of Crawford, in order to get like the 6th or 7th best win on Canelo's resume would be the best win in Crawford's resume.
Yeah.
So there is no comparison, but also like just Crawford is a typical fighter that never fights anyone, and Canelo is the exception because he's Canelo.
Yeah.
So how come all these people are getting it wrong? A lot of people are picking Crawford to defeat Canelo. They consider him a top 10 pound for pound boxer, top 5, top 3.
Those people are black, Butcher. Those people are black.
No, I wouldn't. I mean,
Yes.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
But come on.
Some of them want to be black also, yes. But
Okay, I see. I get them. Okay.
people don't like Canelo
get
because
Strange
they don't like
G. Get Strange G Chudo on the panel. Have him
Yeah, somebody get him.
You get that guy
By the way,
John
guys,
pound
the
for pound. You get that guy John pound for pound on the panel, right?
Who? Oh yeah, get him in.
John,
Get him. Where is he? How can I?
is he
I think he
still
blocked me
around?
on. I think he blocked me on X.
Is he still around, that guy?
Yeah, he clipped me on the show like last week or something, right? So I said, "Hey, bro, you're gonna clip me? Go ahead and jump on the show. Let's talk. Let's talk about what you thought I had to say." You know what I mean?
No way! I can't believe he's still around. That is crazy. Oh man!
Send him a link.
Canelo should go to the tanning salon and he could emerge as Canegro, and then he could fight going backwards.
You might have one of his little cronies in the chat, bro.
Yeah, man, it's an easy Canelo win, this fight, and easy win, easy. I'm looking for a knockout, maybe in the ninth. He's going to corner him. Canelo's feet are faster than Crawford's. People forget Canelo's been chasing massive guys around the ring, small midgets, all his life. So he's going to corner this Crawford guy. His feet are too quick.
Are you placing a
Quick.
bet? Are you a betting man? Do you place bets? Will you place a bet?
Yeah, I would place a bet. I'll probably put about 100 on or 50 or something. I would have a bet. I would have a bet with somebody. But yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm going to go Canelo by stoppage. Yeah,
I haven't even looked at the odds. Let me check.
I have to see who the ref is. Another assessment I have to make before I choose who the ref.
You want to look at everything. You want to look at the trunks, what they're gonna look like.
No, for real. The ref is a huge player.
That's true. No,
I agree with Telkins. Referee does play a big role.
That's true. Is he gonna be like a guy that break every 2 seconds, or is he gonna
that's normally the question I ask.
Or even worse,
gonna be the
Tony
ref?
Weeks. Or if it's Tony Weeks, that would be funny.
Someone said Julio said the ref is going to be Bomac.
Special guest referee.
That's why the ring has to be so big. Now I understand.
It has to be able to support.
Nah, there is no way that Bomac can be the referee, man. You see how much the referee has to move all the way around the ring. That he crazy.
Bomac would have to be on he would have to be on those scooters they have in malls, like.
Oh, Severino. Severino. That fool I was just talking about, he clipped your voice two-way.
Gang.
He clipped you and he made a little video about what you had to say.
John?
Well,
yeah. He's clipped Severino.
Let's get him in. I'm trying to find him on.
I tagged him on my channel, and I put a link to the video.
Maybe if I send him a message on with
what
Twitter.
Did he say though?
Here, I'll give you the link way so you can see it.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's spice things up here.
I don't think you have the balls to jump on though.
But who John is that?
Oh, everybody in the chat, if you're enjoying the show, please, please hit the like button. And if you want to jump on, you're free to fucking join us. The link is in the description, and I'm gonna post the link in the chat again. Jump in, don't be shy. Open line summer.
But wait, where did he clip me? Like I just don't get it.
Well, you'll see you'll see the video.
So what is he saying exactly, Never Sours? How is he attacking you?
So I remember, I think it was about a week and a half ago, I was talking to you, Bucho, and
sorry. Say his name so people know who you're talking about.
About this dude, I think his shit's called John Pound for Pound, right? Boxing breakdowns or whatever. He clipped my voice, he clipped Severino's, and he wants to have a commentary on what I had to say. So I tagged him and I said, you know what, if you want to say you got a problem with what I said, we could talk about it. Just jump on the channel. It's an open panel, right? So, but he was referencing what I was talking about to you, Bucho, like a week and a half ago, about the when I was talking about the great Mandingo hope, how all these Americans are putting all their hope in Crawford. All of a sudden, how it's a phenomenon, right? Just how we used to see the Great White Hope whenever they thought, they think that one of their guys can beat up the black champions from the 40s and the 50s, right? We're seeing it now with Americans and the Crawford versus Canelo, right? They think that, oh, maybe he can, and guys like Lion Legal, you know what I mean? When he was when Jermell was about to fight Canelo, and he's like, yeah, I have a dream he's gonna knock him out tomorrow. I saw it, everybody. You know what I
But
mean? It's the
Canelo's
same
not a
thing.
black belt.
It's the same phenomenon with Crawford, but like times 100, right? You see how the odds were at first and how they're closing in from like 1 to 800 to like 2 to 1 now, where it's going to be even down the line when the fight comes, because people aren't believing in Crawford, so they're putting their hope in him. And he was saying, "Oh, we don't." His whole point was, I think, we don't need a great black hope because we always have a steady flow of talent. But you're not on no. There's no really no. The way they call themselves right in FBA, there's really no FBAs on top of the sport right now like that. Is there?
There's no such thing as FBA. I don't support no FBA. That's nonsense. I don't believe in FBA.
This other dude was classifying himself.
Yeah. Terence Crawford doesn't classify himself as FBA. He actually calls himself a black American. He's actually been to Africa, so he's not like these other weird people. These weird FBA African Americans,
That's a fucking weird hipster term, to be honest.
No,
I always thought Crawford
that's how the dude was referring himself to, right? But I was saying, like, he was saying that there's always a steady flow, but not like before, bro. There's no Floyd Mayweather where there's dudes on top of this. He's a guy on top of the sport running it, and there's no one coming in the pipeline that's even anything close to that. They thought it was Devin Haney. It's not him. It's not Shakur Stevenson. We'll find out next week if it's Shakur Stevenson, right? We'll see what he's about. But now they're gonna start putting their hope in this guy Abdullah Mason. They thought it was they thought the other guy was Jared Anderson was gonna take over the heavyweight division, right? And what happened to him when he fought Okoli? Not Okoli. What's his name? Bacoli.
Charles Chaplin. Remember when? Bacoli. You talking about Bacoli when he got?
No, I'm a heavyweight boxer. I'm taking over the university.
Are you talking about when he went life and death with? I think it was Charles Martin.
Yeah, I think that was before.
But
no offense, but
that is a platform. Do you guys remember when that guy was talking about how he walks the earth like a god? Do you remember how
Charles Martin.
that guy was?
Funny. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty. Funny.
No offense, but there's never gonna be another black American heavyweight.
There's going to be one. There's going to be one.
Nah, there's not.
There's going to be one.
I mean,
there's not.
There's gonna be somebody, man. There has to be. It's not gonna be Jared. No, what's that guy who? The guy who lost to
Jared Anderson.
Well, Jared Anderson. Yeah, it's not gonna be him, obviously.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, so you're saying that? Are you saying the guy with the porn stash might not be a champion?
Yeah, he said black American heavyweight champion.
Yeah, black American heavyweights. Like I'm talking about American heavyweight or black American heavyweight boxing, not for another 100 years. Not happening.
I think basketball is too lucrative for them. I think if you're a big athletic American, you go into basketball. NFL. I think that's it. I will say this though, because of what is happening in the Ukraine, I think that unfortunately a lot of young men that could grow up to be great athletes are probably either dying or crippled by what is happening over there.
Well, that's life. That's natural life. Selection taking place.
So I don't think that we will see. I think we will see a downturn in Eastern Bloc fighters in the next decades.
That's good. That's a good thing.
I think we're going to see a lot more Chinese. I think Zili Zhang is going to be a pioneer. I think you're going to be surprised by the amount of Chinese, especially now that they are eating properly and they are becoming proper size. I think we will see a lot more Chinese fighters.
That's crazy. That
would be my prediction.
I mean, I think. I don't really think it will be like just overall like many heavyweights or American heavyweights overall. I don't really. I never get like the thing of adding like the black thing. I don't know, but
yeah, I'm only turning pro once I finish the Olympics. Once I go to the Olympics, I'm not looking to go pro right now.
Are you going to take the Tony Yoka route, the GOAT Tony Yoka?
I'm only 18, so I've got time,
Good for you.
Wait, the next Olympics, that's When is that?
2026.
Oh yeah, like the World Cup same year. No, wait, what? 2026.
Yeah, you remember
You're right.
Corona?
Yeah, you're right.
The Coroni's delayed shit. Remember
What? What?
the Coroni's, the scamdemic. It delayed sports. Remember
Right. You're right.
The what? Never heard of
the
this.
scamdemic?
No, we can't say the word.
Oh my bad. I'm sorry.
No, not you. No, that's fine. No, you're doing the right thing. Andres doesn't know what
He's a
you're talking
long
about.
flow, right?
No, I know. I'm being ironic. Pucho.
Damn you with your iron. Guys in the chat, hit the like. If you're enjoying the show and you can join us, don't be shy. It's summertime. Get yourself a drink and join the party.
Me and Pucho have discussed this, guys. If you like this video, subscribe and share it. We will gift you a beautiful 22-year-old Filipino woman.
Is Canelo Alvarez the great? Is Canelo Alvarez the great white hope? Is Canelo Alvarez the new great white hope?
He's not white. He looks like a Mayan with white skin.
Yes. But this guy said that he looks native, but he looks white at the same time because you're saying because his head, the way it's shaped, or
he looks like a Guatemalan that is wearing the skin of a white man that he killed in some ritual fashion.
But you can't tell me Mexicans look like that. Come on. They don't look like that.
Have you seen his brothers? Because his brothers are like him, but with dark skin. And he just looks like a Mexican. He's a Mexican that happens to have very light skin. But
he's an albino.
Yeah.
An albino.
Some people say that his biological father is from Europe.
No. They look Mexican. If you find pictures of them, they look Mexican. Like all of his brothers.
I know.
All of his brothers look like taxi drivers, and he looks like he's from...
What about the boxing, though?
I'm thinking Terence Crawford.
What about the boxing? You guys are going into the genealogy of people's backgrounds. It's ridiculous. Like, what about the whole thing? Like the all the things that they're saying right now, all the memes, all the like deep fakes. I mean, this fight is getting overblown with deep fakes. Roy Jones Jr. I saw a really shitty one today. Not even trying to hide it, but like they put Crawford face on another guy's body that looked jacked, and then they put Roy Jones Jr. next to him in another face on another body, and it's like Roy Jones Jr. joins Crawford's team, and then I heard Gennady Golovkin's training Crawford. Fucking Dmitry Bivol is training Crawford. Like, there's so many of these fucking fakes. And what I've realized out of reading all the comments and reading some of the stuff that I've been seeing is that there is like a genuine wave of Canelo hate, which is almost making me go like, well, I'm going to have to root for him now because the last pay-per-view I bought, which was horrifying. It was fucking awful. It was one of the worst fights I've seen. Well, it was one of the worst weekends of fights, right? It was Devin Haney in that fight, which were awful. But I don't know if you guys have noticed how much hate this dude is getting. Like all around, the pros are doubting him. People like, there's people like Teddy Atlas, sure, we all know that. But then there's so many other people that are just.
What do you think that is?
I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a little strange. It looks like
Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas.
There's Teddy Atlas. We can disregard Teddy Atlas. But this goes beyond Teddy Atlas now. No,
and I'm asking you why. I know you think
I don't. Sure, I really don't know why.
Don't know.
Because it's the ultimate race bait fight. It's the ultimate race bait fight. It's the black Mexican. Mexican versus black guy.
That could be one thing, but there's not just white people that are hating on this dude. There's a lot of there's just a lot of people, a lot of pros, a lot of commentators, pundits, all sorts of people are.
Oh yeah, there's a reason because they don't want Crawford to win. That's why.
I have a question for the panel.
No, just like that. Let's. No,
I'm saying there's a lot of hate for Canelo. Like there's Canelo hate is like I'm almost thinking, what are the Vegas odds now? Are they closing in?
Canelo is still the favorite.
I don't know. That's what I was gonna look for. That. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. But while I check, I want to hear from Sicario why he thinks that a lot of people are picking Terence Crawford to win the fight now. All of a sudden. Wait, are you there, Sicario? Probably not.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, what's so? Hey, sorry about Benfica, man. Sorry about Benfica getting destroyed.
Nah, Yeah, we could go all night and white and whatever, but it's all. So we got a shit manager, but yeah, I don't want to bore people to about it. Yeah, good. So you got? I haven't checked the odds. I'm about to. You saying that he's a favorite now, Crawford? Is that right?
No, but the odds got on the internet. Yeah, like people's social media now. The official odds and everything.
Let me have a look here. So it's
what I know. I've changed.
What's the odds?
Yeah, no, it's shifting. It's definitely shifting, and I don't know if it's manufactured. I don't know if it's a.
I think people are just using their brains now. They're analyzing.
Hold on a minute. So Canelo's 5-9. So he's nearly 2-1 on. He was 1-3, 3-1 on. Yeah, so you definitely do. It's gone up definitely like quite a bit. Yeah, well, not crazy amount, but it has gone up. And Crawford's 29 to 20. Sorry, it was 2-1. It was 40-20. Now it's 29-20. So it's gone down 11. Yeah, because in my opinion, okay, I've had a lot of criticism in the community, especially for the Mexican contingent. You know, calling me like a black lover, or this, that, and the other, all only because I picked Crawford. And I picked Crawford because the Mexican community are going Canelo because they're not rightly so, because of, you know, the nationality, the flag, the blood, everything. It's the heart, isn't it? I'm not Mexican. I'm Portuguese, yeah. So I'm not gonna. I can go on a black hate and go right with you. And go Canelo, okay, on this one. But no, I'm trying to think here with my head. And I believe that Canelo is being set up. He's being set up for he can only win one way. He can't win on points, in other words.
I don't believe that. That's
fair enough, and that's what's magical about the opinions, isn't it? Because I think Canelo's been set up for Crawford. He can win two ways. He's got the points on lock because of the business. Because I think Turkey's into him. He just is, and Canelo needs a knockout. So if Canelo doesn't get the knockout, he's going to get, whether he's going to get robbed or outpointed, we don't know yet. If Canelo does just enough to win, like a GG, for instance, close fight, let's say that, yeah, a GG close fight, for instance, it's Crawford that's going to get it. That's what I'm saying. And the business, that's why the odds have changed. Because the business knows this. They're not stupid. They see the love. They see the arm around the black guy, yeah? The Arab is putting the arm. The Arab is putting the arm around the black guy, and Canelo is being a hired clown. They're using him as a clown. They're using him as a fucking clown. Okay, he's the clown, and Canelo is. All right, and that's the way it is. And when it goes to points, he's gonna get robbed.
That's a good point.
What it is. And then
they did the same thing.
That is only an opinion.
So you might have a big point on that, to be honest. Like, listen. What I'm saying is that Furioso might have a point. Everything in terms of boxing at the moment is fixed. And my brother below,
nonsense.
Like my brother below, like from London, like, listen, bro, things are getting fixed and strange. If this fight is fixed, this is going to make a lot of money for the Arabs. You could be talking billions. Not about.
Where's your proof?
Billions.
Terence Crawford is not marketable. He's like 37 years old, right? He's old, right? So why would Turkey want him to win over Canelo? What kind of nonsense?
But it's about bets. But the thing is, it's about bets. It's about putting money on the fights and that, my brother. It's about putting money on. It's not about the actual age. It's not about the fights. It's like, I'm a man in my 50s. I've seen this happen all my life in boxing.
You're in your
it's
50s?
Gonna be set up. Yeah. I'm an old guy.
No way.
He's talking about. He's an OG of the boxing community.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
but
gonna
listen, but if what you're saying is true, yeah, then that should have applied to Tyson Fury versus Usyk. How comes Usyk won? Shouldn't Tyson Fury have got a bloody decision?
I'll tell you who Usyk won. That's the easiest question to answer ever, my friend. Usyk won, yes, because he was better in the end. I'm a Fury guy, yeah. Usyk is he's better. He did win fair and square, he did. But even if that was a 50-50, even if it had been a 50-50, they would have given it to the Ukraine war. Okay, because that was what was big at the time, and it still is now. It was the Ukraine war, the sympathy vote, the business wanted. You know, at the end of the day, they never liked the gypsy guy. They didn't like him. He only got love when he got to the top. But it was never genuine love, was it? He was the pikey, he was the dirty gypsy caravan guy. They never loved him, so they couldn't wait to kick him out eventually. But he got beat fair and square. But it's the same scenario.
You're trying to say
Gypsy lives matter.
Black people. The Arabs are
They
black
never loved Gypsy Fury, did they? Never.
I'm saying
what are we talking about?
Does Turkey love black people then? Do the Arabs love black people?
Yes, they do love black people, the Turkeys, because who are they enslaving at the minute to build the country? It's black Arabs, it's blacks, okay, from Africa, North Africa, by the way. But that's political. We won't get into that. You just need to do your homework and then educate yourself, and then you'll know why.
So what you're saying, right, is basically the outcome of Canelo Alvarez, right, versus the face of boxing, the boxer makes the most money in the entire sport.
He's not the face of boxing. He's not the face of boxing. Usyk is.
Fair enough. But you're trying to say, because based on, but in my opinion, Canelo is, but whatever. So Canelo versus
money, yes, but not curriculum titles. The heavyweight guy's always the face.
Okay, but he makes the most money, right? Okay. So the guy who makes the most money in the sport going up against the supposed pound for pound number one, which some people are arguing maybe he is, maybe he isn't, is already fixed, is what you're saying. The outcome is already fixed.
It's not a case of it being already fixed. It's just a case of there's a great side, there's a great leeway for Crawford. So Canelo was what I'm saying is Canelo to win this fight, he needs to a knockout. Yeah, and that's what the Canelo fans are hoping on is the knockout. We're gonna knock out this guy. We're gonna knock out this guy. We're gonna knock out this guy. And then when it goes to points, it gives them a reason to rob Canelo. It's like, oh, good, you didn't knock him out. No, I'm sorry now, but we're not gonna calculate it for you. Okay, you didn't get what you wanted, and supposedly you was gonna get the knockout. So I'm afraid now the calculations of the rounds add up to Crawford. That's how it's gonna be.
Okay, because I've literally just bet half an hour ago 100K on Crawford winning by decision, and that's based on. Then
you're making your money, because if Canelo can get the knockout. It's up. We will have to see. In no way I'm like underestimating the knockout for Canelo. God, no chance. Canelo's got crazy. Of course, he's got.
Are you making
of course he can bloody get the knockout. A bloody good chance. I put it over 50% actually. A chance of him getting it. However, I'm just saying if it goes to points, which has been the outcome of Canelo's recent fights, points, yeah, it will be a robbery.
Okay,
the business wants to give it to the business wants to give it to America. They will to America. They don't care about Mexico. Ain't no Turkey guy for Arab caring about Mexico. They're going to bend the knee to America so they can then get business in America.
So why aren't you picking?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can I go next?
Yeah,
go on,
bro.
Go for it. Real quick, Canelo. I think they have a contract, with Turkey to have a couple fights lined up. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, the rematch.
Yeah. So what? Hold on. So what Furioso makes no sense because of course you would prefer to have an American star, to have an American audience get more money. But you got to think they're not going to give it to Crawford because after this fight, is that like he's not going to fight anymore? Basically, he's basically semi-retired. This is a payday for him. We all know this, so like that makes no sense. He's at the end. He's at the end of his lifeline.
Let me reply. Let me reply to this video. So, listen, they're gonna want that rematch because the fight is fixed in the first place. They're gonna make money off that. It's a double header.
But this gentleman speaking previously said that Crawford, this is his last fight. Can you give me receipts and us receipts that it is his last fight? I can give you receipts that Canelo's got another fight for the rematch.
It is insinuating because when he was speaking, he only really wanted a payday. But it is again insinuating.
You can't make insinuations, my friend, because you're assuming. You're assuming, my friend.
I'm assuming.
When Crawford gets knocked the fuck out, we'll see if he wants to fight ever again.
Crawford's not going to get knocked the fuck out because
that'll be finito. Facts. That'll be finished.
The Arabs, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make a short-term game. Like they're not thinking in the short run. Like on one fight, we're going to flip some money. You can't do that. They got to think the long. The long way. Canelo might still have like 2 or 3 years left in his career.
Yeah.
So they can still make money with him.
If Canelo gets the knockout, then that's Crawford. He's retired ass for sure. But then if Crawford wins, he'll be pressured into a rematch. He will have to have a rematch. There'll be a rematch.
Okay, but why do you think
Furioso, if I may, I think you're missing one big point here is that...
What if he just wins and vacates the belts?
Hold on, I think Furioso is missing one big thing here is that the people that drive the American boxing market are primarily Latinos and Mexicans. That's what's keeping the sport alive in America. America doesn't have homegrown American fighters that draw a crowd. None of them do. Like look at Devin Haney. Look at even Teofimo Lopez. Look at Ryan Garcia is only because of social media, and that was it. And his power is dwindling. So when you talk about the fight being fixed in that way, I have to disagree with you because you're killing a big piece of the market. You're going to kill the Mexican American market because you want this guy to win. I think that's kind of that's insanity. That would be like sabotaging. You're Elon Musk and you're setting your own dealerships on fire, or
that would apply if Canelo was a young 22-year-old in the future. These are two old ass fighters. These are two old ass fighters that are getting played around by Turkey. Okay, it's different.
He's the Portuguese guy is a Canelo supporter. He's picking Canelo to win.
Canelo represents the last of an era of where people are excited to go see a fight, to go buy a pay-per-view, to go to an arena and see a fight. Like, he represents the last of that era in America. I'm not talking about anywhere else in the world, but I'm talking about in America because we don't have that.
End anyway for both of them, my friend. It's the end for both of them. So they're just getting played by a rich fucking trillionaire. That's all. They're not the future of boxing, are they?
Why would
they're the end of boxing.
Why would you cut off the well when you could have another 3 or 4 more fights with this guy to draw some more money?
They are going to do. They're going to have a rematch probably. They'll milk it that way.
There's no proof they're having a rematch, man. There's no
rematch clause that I've heard of.
Yeah, there's no rematch. You know why I keep saying that? There's no rematch.
I don't know why you keep saying there's a rematch.
Turki mentioned the rematch. He made a joke about it. Like, we'll see in the rematch, and he laughed like as a joke.
Well, that guy will get a rematch if he wants the rematch with or without a clause. Get a rematch whenever he wants a rematch. If he says he wants a rematch, he's going to throw enough money at both guys to have a rematch.
Canelo better hope he gets a rematch. Canelo better hope he gets a rematch.
It doesn't matter about the boxing and the future and this. They're at the end, my friend. They're at the end. They're just getting paydays, the both of them. Yeah, it's a bit of a circus act, to be honest, this fight. It's like, the generational guy. It's going to be two different completely weights and that. It's money, isn't it?
The Portuguese guy doesn't believe Terence Crawford can convincingly beat Canelo on points. That's why he's pricing himself out, saying that the fight's fixed. Like, when he's just a Canelo supporter, he can't even pick Canelo to knock him out. Why are you not picking Canelo to knock him out then? If you believe in Canelo that much.
Because he hasn't been knocking anyone out lately, and Crawford has got, even though he's a lower weight and what have you, he is a talented fighter. He is. He's no mug. He's got a weak resume. Yes, he has got a weak resume who he's fought, but he is a talented fighter. So I have to put a bit of that into the mix. Yeah, he knows his way around the ring, does he not? He's unbeaten. Yeah. So I have to give him some sort of, props, some sort of chance of surviving, put it that way.
It's a great fight, and it's going to be interesting to watch and see what happens because...
And my biggest concern about Canelo is the past quite a lot of fights, easily last 5 fights, his output is atrocious. Atrocious output. He's not throwing way enough. He ain't got the shit in the tank anymore. He hasn't got the output, so that it's going to give Crawford chances in the rounds, chances in the fight, breathers. Because this guy ain't going to be throwing. He ain't going to be throwing that much at Crawford. He's going to be looking for that one punch knockout.
Don't you think it's partially the reason that is because these guys are literally backing? He's got to chase these guys down. Like you can't throw a lot of punches when you have to like hunt your guy down too. Charlo did it. Berlanga didn't even want to exchange half the time. He basically was a sparring session. All these guys after about the 5th round or 6th round, they become sparring sessions. They really do. They're not fights anymore. They're just like him with Munguia. That was good. That was a sad one, but the guy literally held him up, man. The guy literally held the dude up. And these are the reasons why a lot of people are like, fuck these fights, like fuck Canelo. It's just it's too either the fights are too easy. These guys present no challenge at all. And we don't want to see it. Now we're getting this hype train of like it's almost too much, man. It's so much that I'm getting very suspicious about this being planted because it's way over the top. People are forgetting the Madrimov fight. I just saw that fight the other day. You know what? I had it a draw again. I had it a draw with Madrimov.
I had that fight a draw too.
I saw the Mean Machine fight. Mean Machine dropped them. Yep. That was a drop. I mean, I'm not forgetting this. People are forgetting.
I have to disagree with that because I use my brother's AI technology and I used that Madrimov fight and the AI technology showed me that Crawford won. So I don't know where you're getting that from.
Well, that's really cute and everything, but all I know is that this is overinflated. It's a little too much. It seems very manufactured.
Crawford didn't do anything impressive in the Madrimov fight, but to say that Madrimov won and it was a draw,
I didn't say he won. I didn't say he won. I said I had it a draw. I said I had it a draw.
Hilarious, man.
Brian is saying a draw is like no, out of the question.
There's no way in hell that was a draw. There's no way in hell. Sorry, nonsense.
Where's AMAC?
Yeah, I seen that fight as a draw too.
Absolute nonsense. There's no way that
nonsense.
There were so many swing rounds in that fight, dude. It's crazy.
There were so many rounds where Crawford was getting his head pummeled. Listen, Madrimov's cross was finding a home with that guy, and there was no defense. It was very strange, and I was like, this guy's not willing to trade too much with Madrimov. Madrimov got those sneaky punches, and so did Bud. I mean, I thought from what I saw the 2 times I saw the fight, I thought they were very evenly matched, in my opinion. That's
you're saying that no one won that fight, is what you're saying.
Yes, nobody won that fight.
Yeah.
I think they were very even. I mean, Bud met his match. Those guys were evenly matched. Like I see Better Beef and Bivol. Bivol having the slighter edge though, but this was different. I didn't think anybody had the edge here.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I want to hear Brian. How did you see the fight?
Yes, yeah. So I watched the fight, right? I watched the fight 500 times. The first time I watched it
right? I was disappointed in Terence Crawford, but I still had him winning the fight. I was very neutral. I'm a professional. I'm a boxer, right? I've had over 50 amateur bouts. I know how to score a fight, right? I'm about to be a professional boxer. I'm very neutral. I then watched it 500 other times with the sound off. 500 times with the sound off. I scored it exactly the same.
Did you count 500 times?
Huh? Sorry?
Did you count 500 times?
Yes. I marked it 500 times because everyone was saying, what I found disgustingly shocking is that some people were saying that Madrimov won. So I was like, hold on a second. Even though I said that Terence Crawford didn't perform well in that fight, he did not lose that fight. Nonsense. That fight
did you score the fight?
Yeah, I scored the fight. I scored the fight exactly how the judges scored it. It was exactly the same.
Okay,
he won that fight.
Can we see your scorecards?
You want to see my
500 of them? All 500 of them, yes.
so you want me
easy.
I mean, you made the claim, not me, that you fucking watched it 500 times. I'm just curious if you scored it 500 times.
Yeah,
I can understand.
Listen, hey, I'm curious to see even 2 of those scorecards.
So you want me to go through my whole entire deck of scorecards?
Yes, I want you to go through your whole entire roll of and I would like to see.
This is madness.
Produce 2 of them.
500 times though. That's crazy. Over what amount of period?
If you grab me like 2 of those scorecards out of the 500 that you scored it, that would be great.
Let's not exaggerate here, lads. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Over what time period did you watch 500 times? Over months or weeks or what?
Yeah, so I watched it 500 times within a day.
That's a crazy amount. That's crazy. I mean, you are a boxer, so you must have that extra. I don't know.
I would assume you scored it 500 times because you have that experience.
Yeah, I scored it the exact same. I scored it 115 to 113.
Okay, well, let's see your score. Let's see your scorecard.
I'll take 2 scorecards. Yeah, sure. Let's see the chat.
People are saying that they in the chat. By the way, hit the like, or we're ending the fucking show, guys. People are saying that they thought Crawford struggled, but he ended up winning the fight. A lot of people had Crawford winning the fight, from what I'm seeing. But it was close. Yeah, that's no doubt about it. It was close, and he wasn't going to lose the fight. I'll just say.
To me, all Madrimov was just like his strong suit.
Well, I mean, I watched it 7 times.
Other than that,
I did watch it 7 times, and I had to draw 5 times.
Yeah, one at a time. Let Telkain finish, and then we can. All right.
I was just saying, the only thing I saw Madrimov doing efficiently was really feinting. You know, like in his footwork, but he wasn't really throwing all that much. So I don't see a problem with giving that. I agree with Brand.
Okay. Okay. Vessel?
Yeah, there's going to be people that are going to have it either way for those guys, but the fight was that close that I scored it twice. I saw the fight twice, scored it twice. I had it to draw both times. But I'm not upset with anybody for having it for either guy. I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, yeah, I could go either way, draw, or I can go either way. But to say but it was like 8-4, but that's crazy. That's crazy. Like maybe 7-5. Okay.
I could see that, Don Madrazos. You know what they did? They gave him the swing rounds, all of them.
Sure. If you give him all the swing rounds,
champion, they gave the name. The name always going to get the face, isn't he? He's the A side.
And then it wasn't like Ortiz. Like when Ortiz fought him, Ortiz clearly dominated a lot of the rounds. There wasn't much of a competitive edge that Madrimov gave him. He was basically submissive at some points because he just couldn't do anything.
But if there's a swing round, guys, who do you expect to get it? The A side or the B side?
I don't give it to any of them, dude.
Sure,
None of them deserve it.
I'm not talking on behalf of the judges scoring the fight. Although I'm not upset with people like if they have the fight by one round for one guy or one round the other guy. That's fine. I don't who cares, right? But to have it like a huge spread, that's fucking ridiculous. That's stupid.
Yeah, but
you're not paying attention.
I use my brother's AI technology, right? That only he has access to. I told him to input
you know what? And that sounds great, but I can't really take. How are you going to take AI's
Okay, but you know,
here's the issue with AI. Here's the issue with AI. AI counts on the guard, low blows, arm punches and shit like that, hit punches.
All right, but fair enough.
AI is not reliable right now. Especially the version that people have access to right now. They don't. It's not very reliable. It's getting better, but I don't.
There's too many nuances that it can't detect.
And 100, it came up with the same
accurate.
scorecard that I had, 115 to 113. So there's no excuses, man. You know, Terence Crawford won that fight. Even the AI bot had all the camera angles that only my brother has access to. It came back 115, 113. So you can argue all you want and say it's a draw. That there's no way in hell. Your only reason why you're saying that is because you have some type of bias. That's why. He won that
Dude,
fight.
This guy's a fucking clown. Who is this guy?
Okay, so what rounds did you score for Crawford?
I mean, let me just look through my cards right now, because
I mean, it's one of them fights. It's a close fight, and with boxing, that's what makes boxing special, is or not special, is that you're gonna go with the guy who who you like the most.
Hey,
in the fight. That's why you watch the fight. Normally, when you watch a fight, you're not. It's rarely where you go, I'm not bothered. Normally, you have a liking to some. I prefer that guy or that guy. It's like sport, isn't it? That team or that team, and that's the way it is. If it's a black guy, you're gonna more identify more with the black. If you're white, you're gonna identify white. It's a human thing, isn't it?
Hey,
and it's a close fight, so you're gonna find the supporters are gonna rock with their guy.
Yeah, close doesn't mean someone else won.
Me and you and Shazar, we
definitely. But it's
we saw that a bit. Wait for you also. Wait a second, bro. Remember me, Vessel, and Shazar. We rewatched the Crawford-Majumdar fight not too long ago, and there was a big shot that we thought that landed. Then we played it back in slow motion. It didn't land. Wasn't that like round 11, round 10? You remember that? Furios?
Yeah. I also brought that up. Like sometimes when it looks like it hits, and then when you see it from a different angle, it doesn't hit. The AI counts that. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
that's
it's just
the
the way it is. You're gonna rock with what's your thing, isn't it? I mean, I rock with the guy Portuguese first in other sports or whatever. I'm not gonna rock something else. It's just the way it is.
Or are you gonna lie to yourself? Are you gonna lie? Are you gonna be extremely biased? Are you gonna say Benfica's gonna win the Champions League? You know what I mean?
I've got my scorecard if you wanna look at that. Right, I can go through right now. So round one, I'm just going through. Okay, all right. So round one, I gave to Crawford. Round two, I gave to Crawford. Round three, I gave to Majumov. Round four, gave to Majumov. Round five, round four gave to Crawford. Round five, I gave to Majumov. Round six, I gave to Majumov. Round seven, I gave to Majumov. Round 8, I gave to Crawford. Round 8, I gave to Crawford. Round 10, I gave to Majumov. Round 11, I gave to Crawford. Round 12, I gave to Crawford. So the score was 100. 100.
Round 12, I don't remember Crawford doing anything. I remember him running away throughout most of the fight, just sticking his tongue out. So I don't know how you give the last round to Crawford.
Yeah, again, so I can ask you a simple question. Do you have access to that footage with all camera angles, by the way? Yes or no?
Yes, I have the American version of AI.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. AI, the American.
What AI? I don't get this shit. What the fuck?
Which is superior than the British version.
Yeah, but you're also forgetting who is dictating the pace, who landed more significant punches.
Yeah, you don't win a round, especially the championship rounds where you're running around with your tongue sticking out. That doesn't count as punches.
Just because you land more punches doesn't mean you're going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because there's also significant punches. There's also dictating the pace.
Yeah, when you're backing the other guy up, he's succumbing to you.
The fact is, gents, both fighters are coming into this not looking spectacular, and that's simple as that. Canelo ain't been looking spectacular, nor is Crawford. Obviously, we're criticizing Crawford's performance here with Majumdar. Canelo the same. He's been winning, but he hasn't been knocking dudes out like he should be, really. Like Berlangas and people like that. He should be getting him out of there. the so-called amateur.
Yeah,
so just things like that, you know.
Yeah, let's move away from this Madrimov fight because I think we're getting bogged down on this shit. And yeah, Furioso's saying the right thing, and I can understand some people now picking Crawford because of Canelo's latest performances. But still, even though Canelo has performed poorly, I still think that he's a favorite. So I really don't get these people who are picking Crawford. Maybe a robbery, okay, sure. If he goes to 12 rounds, I mean, who knows what the fuck Turki's thinking. But skill-wise and everything, the weight difference, I think Canelo's just better. And
Canelo doesn't have more skills than Crawford. His footwork is terrible.
That's the biggest contention.
Terrible footwork. Look at his footwork. Terrible. Like, look at his last fight with William Skull. He's terrible in that fight.
Did Julio Cesar Chavez have amazing footwork?
He doesn't have good footwork.
He had his own
all you need is proper defense. Like,
just because you don't dance around the ring doesn't mean you have bad footwork.
Yeah, that's a misconception now. It's a misconception.
There's different types of footwork. And Crawford's footwork didn't look so good in his last fight where he put on that extra pounds. Now he's going to have, 14 extra pounds going up to 168. You think he's going to be able to move around the same? I don't think
There's just too many negatives going in against Canelo. You know, Terence is coming in the southpaw. He has better footwork. He has better skills. He's never been. He's both of them only really been dropped once, in my opinion. I don't think Crawford can knock Canelo out. But I do not think that Canelo can beat Crawford convincingly unless he knocks him out. The only way Canelo can win is by a knockout. He's not going to win on points. There's no way in hell.
Now, Crawford has better foot movement, or he moves better around the ring. I think you believe that. Now, how is Crawford going to look at 168 at 37, almost 38 years old? He's turning 38 in December. Like this is a big question.
Crawford is younger than Canelo, but if we're talking biologically.
No,
I don't think you understand Canelo.
Crawford's older.
Canelo's a PED abuser. He drinks alcohol, right? He's starting to lose his hairline. Terence Crawford doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. So you're talking a guy that basically has lived the life. Canelo is a PED abuser. His whole camp abuses PEDs.
That's not true.
We can bring up Crawford being on Snap.
That has been exposed. The Reynoso thing has been exposed. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the video. Haney posted this list of all these PED users from the Reynoso camp, but he in the list it was Panterita Neri was there, but Neri tested positive 2 years before he joined Reynoso. Then in the list there's also Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia tested positive after leaving Eddie Reynoso.
Yeah, he was with Derek James then. Yeah, he was with Derek James.
I mean, and then Snack. I mean, Snack. Some people have tested positive being with Snack, like Andre Berto.
But how did he end up getting Clen from tainted meat?
Yeah, well, that's a problem in Mexico. Like 33% of this is what Victor Conte said. He said like a lot of the meat processing plants, I don't know how you call them, they're 33% of those in Mexico are tainted with clenbuterol.
This issue has been reported since the 90s, dude. Like what the fuck?
In 2009, the Mexican national team 3 players tested positive for clenbuterol.
I've faced people, right? I've faced 50 amateur bouts. 25, half of them, right? I've been on PEDs and I've used clenbuterol, right? So I don't buy that. There's a lot of people in sports that use PEDs, and we're talking about the guy that makes the most amount of money. I don't buy it. He's a PED abuser.
Well, by
the way, Canelo did a hair follicle test. They test the hair and he passed that thing.
Yeah, but Simeon Panda did the same thing. Is Simeon Panda natural? Come on, man.
I don't know. I don't think he needs clenbuterol for that to.
Yeah, like I said, they did multiple tests. He even took his receipts back to the drug testing agency. They went back to the restaurant. The restaurant, their slaughterhouses were found to have used clenbuterol in their cows. So I mean, all this stuff's been done before. Go watch the Exodus Files. It's on YouTube.
No, but that thing about the whole Eddie Reynoso gym, it's bullshit. Like, why would you put Panterita Neri there? The guy who tested positive before he joined. And Ryan Garcia, and he was Austrian. It was 2 years after he left that gym.
Yeah, he was someone else at that point.
But regardless, we were talking about Crawford Canelo. So now I don't know what we're talking about the PED usage. We're talking about a 37, almost 38-year-old Crawford.
Talk about those exploding gloves, Let's talk about those.
Who struggled?
Oh, exploded up. That's another thing. Go ahead about that.
Yeah, you're right. No, I feel like there's a lot of questions, but that are not being asked with regard to Crawford, and we're looking at Canelo under a microscope. Like his last
It's very easy to
performances?
beat Canelo. It's very easy.
Okay.
Not a difficult fight. Like if you look at his last fight, right? He fought Charlo. Charlo is undersized, right? It's undersized super middleweight. He didn't even come to fight. Edgar Berlanga was tentative, and now he's saying Canelo helped him. He's just a little kid, so he's not really fought anyone that's come to win. Canelo, he's like a Floyd Mayweather, Mexican version of Floyd Mayweather. Just picks and chooses he wants to fight. In the last fight, he should have came forward and actually gave people a fight. He didn't.
What about Joe Ryder? Wait. So why did he pick Crawford then?
He's picking Crawford because this is a cherry pick.
You count Crawford as a guy that's easy. Just pick
The thing is, Canelo at the moment, he can afford to win a fight going through the motions. You know, like, especially if he ain't like which he tried to do with Bivol in a way. I mean, that Bivol fight was hitting, just going for the shoulder. He was no output once again, low output. That's why Bivol kind of played with him a bit. But the thing is, with Crawford, he ain't going to be able to go through the motions because when it then goes to the cards, they're not going to give him a side royalty, scorecard, for instance, whether he was pressuring or not. They're going to Crawford's got a big say himself.
So where do you get this
in the business?
Where do you get that from? Crawford's never been a big-time seller in his whole career. Bob Arum said he's overpaid him just to keep him stay at Top Rank. Why would Turkey give the 37-year-old who doesn't make him any money? We saw Crawford Majumov flop. Why would he pick the older man who's got no fights left and doesn't make him any money? Why would he favor him over Canelo?
Hold on a minute. How many fights has Canelo got left in him?
He has three. He has 3 under contract.
Give me a number.
He has 3 more under contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 fights left. 5 fights left. How do you know this is Crawford's last fight? How do you know that?
Been fighting once a year for the last 4 years.
Yeah, but how do you know it's his last fight? His last one.
Well, why else would
no one knows this, but everyone keeps saying it's his last fight without no fucking receipts.
Well, why?
How do you know it's his last fight? If he was to win this, he might
win. Canelo's only got receipts in his left hand. Okay, don't worry.
He's not gonna win. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of Mexican people are gonna be upset.
By the way, I want to know, Bran, why do you say that Crawford has more skills? Based on which fights have you watched? Yeah.
So basically, right, he's got more skills. But so what I mean by that is he's gonna, in this fight, I don't think he'll switch to orthodox, but he has the ability to switch from orthodox to southpaw. Being a right-handed fighter, he's quite good at southpaw. He's very good with his lead hand, and that's gonna be a problem Canelo's gonna have in the fight, right? He's good in the pocket, the footwork. He's good at timing. He downloads information a lot quicker. Canelo
downloads. That's
downloads information. Right?
Oh my!
And Canelo takes too long to basically get to the work in the fight. It takes him more than 6 rounds to get a footing into the fight. He's a slow starter, Canelo. But in this fight, he's got someone that's has a longer reach, a little bit taller, has better skills than the people he's fought before, and is actually coming to win. This is why I put 100K on Crawford winning, and a lot of Mexican people are crying. I gotta cry over him.
Okay, you better show that receipt. Show that receipt.
100 grand. You've put 100 grand on.
There's actually something else which I'm not gonna reveal. Right, being in the boxing community, which I found out. Right, which is why I'm also picking Crawford to win. But I'm not gonna really get into it because I'm gonna get in trouble if I mention it. And because of that reason, all I'm gonna say is if you're putting money on Canelo, good luck with that. Please put money in Canelo.
You can't leave us.
Please come
Yo, Bucho, I already posted a few articles because this guy was trying to imply that I was making shit up. But yeah.
Canelo has been communing.
Yeah. I already posted a few articles because obviously, like when you tell this guy's actual information, be hesitant and doubt it.
AMAC, excuse me, do you have the AI footage on all that? Come on, bro.
What, me?
I need to post 500 articles.
Right, so Crawford has more skills. the inside movement, and then you said there's something you can't tell us what it is. Come on, you can give us a hint.
Yeah, I can use. I'm gonna use a hint for you, right? This is how I know, and I want you to remember this, right? I want you to remember this. I swear on my dead sister's life, Canelo is going to lose this fight.
No, don't do that, bro. Don't do that.
And the information I have. Sorry.
Don't Bucho.
Bucho, he said on my dead sister's life.
Yes, my dead sister's life. Canelo is not winning this fight.
You don't gotta do all that crazy shit.
No. You don't have to.
Bucho, no, it's an oxymoron. Bucho, it's an oxymoron.
Yeah, it's an oxymoron.
Yeah, just say you just say you bet on your 100,000 you put on. Did you really?
That's why I put 100K into this fight. Once I found out.
Show us the receipt. I need to see a receipt for this.
I have a receipt, but this information comes from Turki Alashikh himself through people that I know. Do you understand? It's something I found out.
I have a question for you, Bran. I have a question.
I do.
I have your attention.
Are you saying it's rigged?
So Turki Alashikh, if he's over 6 inches, blink twice. If he's under 6 inches, blink once.
Holy shit!
What? Is that where the 100K is coming from?
Bucho, you said.
I don't know. Yeah.
I already put 100K on this fight an hour ago.
Hey, Bucho, you said.
Okay, can you show that though? You should have a receipt.
Hold on. I want to tell Quentin. Yes.
I was just gonna say, Bucho, you said as this fight gets closer, predictions are gonna get crazier and crazier. So we see it right here, man. You're right.
Oh, you're right. Correct again.
Yeah, you did say that.
No, this is interesting. This is what we want. We want, different opinions.
Do you guys think that Crawford
hit the like? Yeah.
Yeah, someone said on here, don't be surprised on the week of the fight happens if Crawford is the slight favorite. Someone said that.
Oh yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think? The bets are they going to change? I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think the trajectory right now is that the odds are going to change. The public opinion's already changing, even though it's manufactured, and I think it started off being manufactured. It's like a hired protester. They get hired to smash windows, and then the other idiots follow suit. I think that's what's going to happen here. There's going to be a domino effect of people that are going to start swaying their.
Oh, you're talking about an agent provocator. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course. Right now what we're seeing is it's being overinflated. Like I said before, it's just being overinflated, and people are just going on what they saw recently, and what they recently saw was Canelo in a stinker of a fight, and people are saying, well, he doesn't have. People are praising Crawford's skills, and they've been, but that talk is getting overinflated because, I mean, come on, man. If a million people saw the fight again, the Madrimov fight, I don't think we'd have this public outcry of Crawford. Look at the fight, man. Look at the fight. Look at the size of the guy. Look at how evenly they were matched. Look at how he struggled with that guy.
Stop it, just stop it.
And look at the defense. Look at the defense. Look at the defense. Look at how many times he got caught on the inside, and Canelo's a way better inside fighter. These are all the things that I'm saying that it may be a competitive fight for a little while, but I just don't know. I just don't think he's going to win this fight, especially not by knockouts.
Hey,
People that are predicting knockouts, that is fucking insane.
Hey, Don.
What's your reasons for him not winning?
One.
I just don't think he's they're blowing the skills out of proportion. I think that when you match up against a guy like Madrimov and Kavaliauskas, and you're having competitive moments, even though he knocked Kavaliauskas out, you're getting hurt and you're having competitive moments. You're gonna fight some guy that Kovalev couldn't knock out. With all the punch, Golovkin couldn't knock out. With all the punches, a bigger guy like Dmitry Bivol hit him with, didn't even stun him. So,
how do you explain Madrimov? How do you explain Madrimov out throwing Bud and Bud outlanding Madrimov?
What was that again?
How do you explain Madrimov throwing more punches than Bud did, but Bud landing more punches than Madrimov did?
How many? Do you know about how many?
Yeah, and then
I'd have to look at it again.
It's only by like 30, bro. They only landed by like 10, 20.
Yeah, we also have to take in consideration that it was a close fight. It wasn't like he was dominant. Anybody could throw more or land more jabs per se, or land more. You know,
it was a close fight. I would say it was a close fight. I mean, I think it had Crawford winning and didn't fucking score it, but it looked like that. And
listen, and for me, Madrimov landed a lot of the like eye-catching punches.
Madrimov threw 200 more punches than Canelo. That man got severely outboxed.
Wait, what?
Well, for which fight of Canelo?
I mean, than Crawford.
Madrimov threw 200 more punches than Crawford.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think Madrimov throwing a lot of jabs, or what was he throwing a lot? In which part of the fight? Because a fight is scored round by round. So this is why sometimes looking at the punch chance numbers doesn't tell you the whole story, because it's not who threw more punches, who landed more. It's who won each round, right? Maybe at the first part of the fight you throw more punches, and the second part of the fight you throw less punches.
But you win fights by landing punches.
Yeah,
no, you win. You win a fight by winning rounds. It's not like nobody said.
And you win rounds by landing punches.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but
imagine a situation where you throw all your punches. I mean, in 5 rounds, and then you don't throw punches in the next.
It's like
8 rounds.
Yeah, but it's not just punches; it's significant punches and dictating the pace.
Yeah, it's like Caleb Plant and Benavidez. Caleb Plant landed a lot of the punches at the first 4 rounds of the fight, and he landed a shitload of them. But towards the middle of the fight, he stopped. He couldn't land anything.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like the punches can tell you a story. It doesn't tell you the whole story, because you're counting who wins more rounds, not who throws more punches. Now, if those punches are spread around evenly in every round, then you can have an argument. Okay, then this guy won the fight because he threw the same amount of punches every single round.
Yeah, and also it's such a negligible number because the fight had more moments where, in my opinion, Madrimov was catching Bud clean in the face, and Bud kind of just was backed off. There were moments where he just backed off or wasn't willing to engage, and it was a very close and competitive fight. I'm not saying that he got dominated. Nobody got dominated in that fight. I think there was a very good exchange of skill and tat for tat punches thrown, in my opinion. That's what I saw.
Madrimov landed 106. Crawford landed 135.
Did you guys see? How
are you
would
counting
you
just like jabs? Like, what are you doing here? Like, are we going power punches, jabs? Like, what are we counting here? Also,
I'm just saying that adds an extra layer on top.
No, I know what you're saying. You're giving the stats, but the stats, like Bucho said, doesn't tell the whole story of the fight. The story of the fight is dictated by who at what time has the ring generalship, and I don't think either guy really dictated the fight. In my opinion, that's how it looked. It just they had moments. They had moments where they backed each other off.
Lock down this fight, man. Seriously. Okay. Just an overview. Okay, how would you rate Crawford's performance against Madrimov? Somebody go ahead and tell us.
I think it's like a 6 or a 7.
7.5.
Did he look good? Did he look dominant? Does it concern you?
He looked good towards the end of the fight, but at the beginning of the fight, he looked really bad. He looked very slow, and he looked like it took him time to get into the fight.
Looked good, yeah. It looked good, man.
It looked like his first
against the guy that was too scared to come forward and was being negative, basically, So, yeah, he looked good. He couldn't really do much against the guy. Madrimov, all he was doing was feinting. Like, if he was too scared to come forward and properly bounce his shots, that's what he was doing. So, and he still won. So, it's nothing more you can say.
Somebody else.
I say 5 or 6. He fought an undefeated prospect, and I was expecting Crawford to stop this guy. This guy was very inexperienced compared to Crawford.
It was viewed as a cherry pick, wasn't it? Because this guy only has he only had 9 fights, 10 fights,
and 10, 11 fights.
Listen, this fight was viewed as his way to dip his toes into 154. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And it ended up being very competitive.
The smallest champion with the least experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, with the least power too.
Yeah, for his first fight at 54.
It wasn't like they were moving up to fight a world beater here. This wasn't a legacy fight, you guys. Everyone's treating it like it was a legacy.
Champion.
This was not a legacy fight.
Undefeated. He was undefeated.
This wasn't
right?
a legacy fight. It was like fighting a guy that has a belt, yeah, but doesn't have the experience or the prestige of like a full blown.
It is a legacy fight because that's his first belt at 154.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like this was his first fight moving up. You don't put somebody that's moving up, and you don't put somebody against a perceived killer. You don't do that. Yeah. And it ended up being one of those fights where it's like, oh shit, this is actually competitive. Oh shit, this dude actually struggled with this guy who's got what, like 12 fights or something. That's what it was.
Isn't it kind of embarrassing, Domadrassos, though?
Oh, go ahead, Vessel.
Isn't that kind of embarrassing that he struggled with this guy?
I don't think it's embarrassing because you're moving up. Every time you're moving up and you're having a struggle, it's not like exactly embarrassing. What I think is embarrassing.
So weight class is better?
I think what makes it embarrassing is people that are making excuses for it. That's what I think is embarrassing. It's like, come on, you don't have to do that. So what if he struggled? He moved up. It's not a bad thing.
Wait, how many weight classes is he moving up to fight Canelo?
That's that's I don't know. We'll see what happens. But right now, I'm kind of thinking like this whole thing is really getting blown out of proportion. And I think they just want to sell this fight. They want to make money off of this fight. I would too if I were.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people like the Sean Porter podcast or like Tim Babalina's podcast are sponsored by betting companies. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think they're saying the shit? I mean, a lot of the boxing events are sponsored by betting companies as well.
All those guys have.
You guys never like had that connection?
I don't know what the connection is. Like I said earlier, a lot of the professional boxing pundits, people in podcasts, pro fighters, retired pro fighters, they all have Bud. Very few have Canelo.
Getting money on the side, bro.
Go ahead.
Why do Canelo fans want to talk about everything under the sun except the fight in the ring?
What?
The thing is,
no, I want to fight in the ring. The fight in the ring is very simple. This
Bro, can we please stop pushing that narrative saying Matrimov was unexperienced? Stop saying that shit, man. Who the fuck said that?
That's not a narrative.
That's not a narrative. That's a fact, bro.
Hey, let me explain. 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 Let me explain, bro. Let me explain, man. Let me explain, man.
Hold on. Okay, I'm going to meet people. Nobody. Hold on, please. This Bucho.
All right, go ahead. Explain your fallacy. Go for it.
Yeah, explain, and then you can jump in. Go ahead, Big Sayo.
Yo. Or as I was saying, yeah, the reason why I say he's not inexperienced because the guy had 300 amateur fights, 300 plus amateur fights. I'm not done. Right? And also, you said he was a prospect. You cannot be a prospect when you win a fucking title. You can't do that. That's the same thing.
What bout was it?
Hold on, man. Wait, come on, man.
What bout was it?
I just came up.
What bout was it? What bout was it?
Come on, bro. Be respectful. I'm not even trying to argue.
Exactly. Be respectful.
Yeah, I'm telling you to be respectful.
I'm asking you to be respectful as well. What bout was it before you paint a narrative?
Keep interjecting.
Yeah. What bout was it?
Okay. Give
it was a WBA. It was a WBA.
Guys, give him 2 minutes, and then you can ask questions. Just write down your questions, and you can ask him the questions. Okay, Big Say, you finish, and then we'll ask you some questions.
Yeah, like I was saying, you cannot say a fighter is unexperienced after he won a title. That goes out the window, bro. You cannot say that. He had the WBA title at middleweight. That's why Crawford's a champion now. How the hell are you going to say, oh, what belt he had? What are you talking about? Crawford's a champion at 154, and he took it off of him. He beat Kurbanoff for the title. That's who fucking Madrimov beat. Madrimov beat fucking a lot of good fighters in the amateurs as well, like Iglesias. People hype that dude up. He beat him in the amateurs. He beat some of the top fighters in the world in the amateurs. He has a lot of experience. He just don't have that much professional fights. Look at Beterbiev, look at Lomachenko, look at Usyk. They don't have that much fights in the pro leagues, but they have a shitload of experience. What the fuck we talking about?
I think what was said was that he doesn't have as much experience.
Okay, so
Crawford definitely has a lot more experience than Madrimov.
Okay, let me debunk this fallacy.
This is wrong with the belts, by the way.
Yeah, he's wrong. He's wrong about the belt. He's wrong about his world level experience. I don't care about the amateurs. This is the professional league.
That's fine. I knew you was gonna say that. But what am I? How can you say?
How is it a narrative then? How is it a narrative?
Because it is, bro. You saying the dude had
I
no
already
experience
debunked
at a
your 2
championship
minute
level.
speech in less than 10 seconds. What's your point?
What do you mean? What's my point? I'm asking you. Why do you say he's unexperienced? Because he had 11 fights.
I'm gonna get straight to the point because you're missing the point.
First fight's fucking inexperience. It's not
part of it was a narrative.
You said what? Now say it again.
What part of it was a narrative?
Saying the guy was unexperienced. Saying he was a prospect.
Okay, so who did he beat?
That is not a prospect.
Who did he beat?
Yeah, I'm out here full of shit.
He didn't beat no great names.
Who did he beat?
He didn't beat no great names at the fucking weight class.
Okay.
But still, wasn't an experienced champion.
Let me jump in real quick. If the amateurs didn't matter, Loma would not have won a title in his second fight as a pro.
100%. 100%.
So you're explaining him being privileged.
Wait. But wasn't Loma a two-time gold medalist?
Yeah, exactly. The two-time gold medalist.
Madrimov was a bronze medalist. Madrimov's a bronze medalist.
So what? So that's why they gave him a chance to have fast numbnuts, not because he had a fucking million amateur fights.
What's that got to do with it?
But how's the unexperienced?
Though? Being
You
a
guys
fucking
can't
two-time
say
gold
that.
medalist, are you fuck? What does it have to do with it? Are you serious?
Okay, so
you're the only part of the
so
debate
he
saying
has
that
all
he had
this.
11 fights.
He has all this experience that you guys claim. So where's all that before he got the paper bout in the pro leagues?
It is though. Lomachenko had experience, obviously boxing experience in general, right? Because he had like I don't know how many amateur fights and 2 gold medals. But he did struggle against Salido, and I know Salido was dirty as fuck, but still that was the professional aspect of boxing coming into play, and he didn't know how to deal with that because he didn't have the professional experience. It's my opinion. I don't know if you guys disagree.
Madrimov does not have a gold medal or bronze medal.
Professional experience comes into play. You only get that with a professional boxing. So there is a professional.
Madrimov does not have a bronze medal.
So what about
hold on, Bucho?
What about Victoria?
Hold on.
That's
Go ahead, Quinn.
No, I was gonna say Majimov does not have a bronze medal in the Olympics for medal, so that's another lie.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's in the Asia Games. That's not the Olympics.
The Asia Games. He had to go to Asia with the fuck.
Wow.
But look, let me ask. Is Furioso still here?
Yeah, big say so. Dude, you don't even know how to read Wikipedia, brother.
Let me ask Furioso and Bucho about this guy, right?
I didn't look at Wikipedia.
What's up?
Hold on. Let me respond. Let me shut down this whole gay ass narrative with your amateur background matters, right? So look, who was this guy? Bucho and a Sicario, fucking Furioso. You remember? What's his name? Tony Yoka.
Yeah.
What was his story?
Yo, he's the next big thing, bro.
Tony Yoka.
Explain who he was, Furioso, because you told me about it the other day, right?
Tony Yoka was that French Olympian medalist, wasn't he?
Gold medal.
Who got exposed by Bacoli in the very end. He had been exposed before that. He had a loss before Bacoli, I'm pretty sure. I can't even remember now. But yeah, he was the French gold medalist. Pretty sure he was a gold medalist. That's his story, really. And he got exposed.
Gold medalist, and he was a shit professional, right?
Yeah, and I'll give you no, there was the other one. Sorry, there was that one, but I was on about Audley Harrison, that's it.
Audley Harrison as well.
Yeah, Audley Harrison, that's another
Tony
one.
Jeffries is another one.
Yeah.
He got the $5 million contract, first 5 fights, $5 million by the BBC, and he got fucking exposed.
I mean, it helps to have it helps. It's not conclusion, right? Like you can reach these guys all of a sudden he's a world-class level professional because of his amateur background.
Not all of them make it, though. There's plenty stories of gold medalists, guys done well Olympics, and it doesn't translate. They don't do it.
Yeah.
Look at
That's true.
He was a bronze medalist in the Squid Games.
Because of the chin. Because amateur is tag boxing. It ain't knockout stuff, is it? It's tag. You get to the heavyweights and you get, to the pros, you get exposed like Wilder's trainer. Who was that guy that he got rid of? He was the team captain. Yeah, he was the team captain, gold medalist. He had no chin in the pros. Couldn't do it. I think he was world champion or something, but he wasn't. He had no chin. They don't get chin checked, do they?
Yep. And Furioso, you'll probably remember.
They got mud guards. It's 3 rounds and it's tag boxing. Let's face it.
So So
you'll probably remember from the Terrell Biggs. He also won a gold medal at those same Olympics. He didn't turn out to be a heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
You'll probably remember Terrell Biggs. Yep.
That was a fraud.
And the greatest proof of all is the opposite side, which is look at Mike Tyson. Couldn't go to the Olympics, could only go to the juniors because his boxing, because his style didn't relate to the amateurs, because he was out here for trying to knock everyone out in 3, and sometimes you get
outboxed. 10, 12 round fight, you know. I mean, like, that's
and that's who Terrell Biggs ran into was Tyson.
Yep.
So Bucho.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, so look, I asked Furioso that question, right? So all that information he just laid out, all that right there is a response to you saying, "Ooh, he had 5 million amateur fights." You know what I'm saying? That don't mean shit in the pros, bro.
So what about Usyk and Beterbiev?
Okay. So for what I understand, some people are trying to say,
what about him? Is Beterbiev a gold medalist?
Some people are.
No, he's not a gold medalist.
We agree that it was a close fight, right? Crawford against Madrimov. That's why some people are saying, well, no, Madrimov, sure, he had like 10 professional fights or whatever, but he actually had more experience than that because of his... There's people trying to cover up the fact that Crawford struggled.
Madrimov's a very good fighter, man. Muslim, doesn't drink alcohol. No excuses, man. He was a very good fighter.
Okay.
Like, bro, people don't know. They didn't know the guy. So when the fight went that way, they were so shocked. Now they're saying he...
Listen.
Who did a better job against Madrimov? Virgil Ortiz, or Crawford? Who had an easier time?
Ortiz did. Ortiz did. But Bucho, I knew you was gonna say that. But Styles make fights, though. That's 100%. That is 100%. Styles make fights. That's why Ortiz did better.
Ortiz's style should be worse than Madrimov.
Styles, it's a lot of factors. That's true.
It's a lot of factors.
Absolutely. That's why I think.
But Ortiz's style should be worse than Madrimov.
So what?
Ortiz's style should be worse than Madrimov. Madrimov's a mover. He's really good at boxing and running away.
Yeah, Ortiz's style. Ortiz, broke his hand in that fight. That's why he couldn't knock him out. You know what I mean? That fight, Israel Madrimov performed differently in that fight. He wasn't moving a lot like he was doing in the Crawford fight. Madrimov wasn't really performing that well in that fight. He wasn't feinting or moving a lot.
Yeah, because Ortiz turned down to the body early. He invested in the body the first 4 rounds. Go watch the fight, brother.
Yeah, Ortiz was constantly pressuring him. So he wasn't going to be able to feint because he had to do those throwing like 30 punches on him every time he would try to feint. Obviously, I'm exaggerating a bit there, but that's how you fight a boxer or a counter puncher. You have to overload their system with punches.
The Madrimov that appeared in the Crawford fight would beat any version of Virgil Ortiz, but that's not the version.
He wouldn't. He didn't beat him in the real fight, brother. So what are you saying?
That version of him didn't come into that fight.
Crazy. I can't believe
this blind guy's crazy, bro.
No chance. That's an insult to Virgil.
Madrimov would never be
no chance. Look, I think, Virgil, at the end of the day, Virgil did it better, and these are facts.
Yeah, but what does that mean, though? Does that mean?
I mean, no, just Virgil beat him better, beat Madri better.
Doesn't mean that
somebody said Styles makes fights. Somebody said that.
Styles make fights, but Styles make fights, but the fact is, the Virgil style beat him better. So it's that to me, that's an extra bow to his arrow. That means he's better. That means it's an asset. It's good. He handled him better. God, he must have another dimension. Dare I say it? Yeah.
I have a question. We've heard Sicario lay out several reasons why he thinks Canelo will lose to Crawford, but I have yet to hear any reasons from Canelo fans as to why he beats Crawford. And don't make it just say, "Oh, because of power."
The weight difference.
Boxing.
The weight difference.
That's too general, man. What's he gonna do?
How's that too general? That's a very specific thing. He's moving up 2 weight classes.
Canelo is.
I don't see Crawford landing a bunch of punches on Canelo. I mean, have you seen? Go look at the Jacobs fight. I believe that Crawford's going to be fighting similar to Jacobs with that hesitant jab, not committing to it because he knows he's going to get countered. And that shitty ass jab. I mean, Canelo just moves his head or he blocks it with his gloves. It's not going to threaten Canelo. And if Crawford decides to throw a right hand or power punch, straight right hand, man, he's risking. He's adding a lot of risk. He's gonna really have to be moving, I think.
See that Canelo versus Jacobs though, that version of Canelo is gone, man. Like I've seen Canelo, I've seen a lot of Canelo's fights. He is not the same fighter. He is not the same.
He has slowed down. He has.
He's slowed down a lot. He's slowed down a lot.
I know Crawford's also technically and theoretically also going to be slower because of the weight and all that stuff. But Canelo also he's on a decline. He isn't on the up. You know, these are just facts. His output's declined. All those measures are all there. All facts are all there. His knockout ratio's lower, is decreased, his output's decreased, so it evens shit up with him and Crawford is what I'm saying.
I think his output has slowed down against big guys or guys where he doesn't really respect their, like for example the Ryder fight. He was trying to walk down the guy who was big as fuck. He wasn't trying to move his head
and strong
in a fancy way. He was just trying to knock the guy out. But he was a tough guy. He went down once, but after that, he just took a beating. But he couldn't get him out of there. But I don't think Canelo was trying to show his head movement in that fight or do anything else. He's just trying to get him out of there. Like against Berlanga. I mean, what else would you guys want to see about that fight? The guy was just doing what he needed to do to win against another big guy. Right now, he's fighting a very small guy.
I mean, I don't want people to get it. My opinion is just based on the fact that if this fight, without getting all too technical or whatever, if this fight goes the distance, that's what my I just think Canelo's going to get robbed. They're stitching him up.
I agree with you on that one.
I think, and there's a high possibility of it going to points. Yeah, there is. That's all I've said from day one. With that, I don't like the business of it. Stinks a bit. I don't like it.
I'll go further than you, Sicario. I say that Bud outboxes Canelo.
Absolutely. Canelo's not a real Mexican. You know what I mean? That's the good thing about this. You know what I mean? Canelo went up to fight Bivol and he ducked Beterbiev. What Mexican?
He's gonna get outboxed by a guy that gets hit a lot by guys with less experience. Okay.
No, let's break it down. Let's break it down this year, right? Crawford is best at mid range. He's always been, a mid range fighter.
Yeah.
Canelo has been a mid range fighter, and I think that's when he was younger. Now that he's older, he needs to get you in close. So to me, that's advantage Crawford.
Yeah, and also
Crawford's gonna win because he understands distance and range. Canelo don't know shit about that. He just comes close. He's gonna try to stop him. He can't.
How did he beat Golovkin? Like he doesn't understand distance. Or
what fight? Which fight? The first one or the second one? Because the first one, Triple G schooled his ass.
Yeah,
Triple G schooled him. Triple G schooled him.
I wouldn't say schooled him, but he definitely beat him.
Triple G got robbed. Triple G got robbed straight up. The first fight.
No, I'm talking about the second fight where Canelo took his ground. He was moving his head.
You're talking about Canelo didn't use that much distance and range in the second fight. That fight was pretty much them close in the pocket.
No. If you're fighting mid range, you gotta be really good at.
They were at the mid range.
Are you kidding me? He was timing Golovkin. That's extremely good timing.
But hold on, Bucho. You're talking about a fight that took place 10 years ago now?
I am.
Exactly.
And which Crawford are you talking about? The guy who struggled against Madrimov, or the guy who has like
the guy who against Madrimov.
A guy who finished. Somebody said he's coming off a 13-month layoff or some shit like that. Right?
Yeah,
the guy who's gonna be 38. The guy who's gonna be 38 in December. The guy who we've never seen fight at 168. You know what I mean? Like all these questions are like just brushed off.
Have you seen the fight with Canelo and Floyd Mayweather? Have you seen that fight?
Which fight?
The fight with Canelo and Floyd Mayweather.
How many years ago did that happen?
That's how this fight's gonna go. It's gonna go like that.
How many years ago did that fight happen?
Crawford don't fight like that.
I think this is where
it's gonna go like that, man.
Crawford don't fight like that.
I've seen Canelo get outboxed multiple times by fucking Bivol, Triple G, Mayweather. All these guys, and Lara, I thought
like any of those guys.
You name 3 guys that are like the pound for pound best, or the pound for pound best.
And you could say you could argue Lara and Trout.
Yeah, you could argue Lara. I'm not saying Lara won. I'm not saying Lara
I
won.
showed you a bunch of rounds where Lara had to run for his life because that's how much fear he had from Canelo.
That's what I'm saying, Bucho. That's what I'm saying, Bucho. I'm not saying Lara won.
I mean, if Lara is like Crawford, he's gonna be running like that.
I'm not saying Lara won, but Lara did box well in that fight. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Canelo don't understand distance and range like those type of guys, bro, that know how to box.
So good. Canelo was so good that he had that guy running. I mean, it could go both ways. You know what I mean?
But here's what I don't understand about. Here's what I don't understand about Big Cecil's narrative. If he don't understand range, then why is he fighting at disadvantage of height and reach
the whole time?
Like the whole time. I mean, look.
He's like 5'6".
I'm talking about from a boxer standpoint. I'm not talking about Canelo getting in close and getting inside and landing his shots.
That's getting into your
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, man. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You're for real, like crazy.
How do I not know what I'm talking about? I mean, Canelo's not a pure boxer.
It's a simple like thing. You don't have to think hard about it, right? He doesn't understand range, but he's constantly fighting at a disadvantage where you got to cut the distance. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Does he cut the distance?
It's so simple. Like, why are you talking about?
That's my question. That's my question. Does Canelo cut the distance effectively? Does he cut it effectively? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Bigger guys.
I'll tell you one thing. He cuts it. He does enough where like they're not putting an output, so he takes the round. He's doing what he has to do. Where like you're not punching back. So what? You want him to fucking like track you? Like you want him to fucking like chase you?
And that's my point. That's what I'm saying. So a guy that can box and understands distance and range, like a Mayweather, Bibble, Triple G, Lara, he can't get in range. He can't cut the ring off against guys like that. Even Skull, even William Skull, I've seen that.
I would argue Floyd doesn't really know much about range. That's why he has to use Muay Thai in boxing. Yes.
Floyd don't know shit about range.
Listen to what I gotta say. That's why he's gotta push his opponents, and that's why he's gotta use.
Oh my God.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is that you haven't seen it. That's what's crazy.
Hold on. Wait. Let me
after the
Hold on.
Oh my
question.
God.
So how is that crazy? How is that crazy if Mayweather always made sure he was the bigger guy in the ring? He never fought somebody who had bigger range than his. Yeah, longer reach. Sorry.
He could have.
I agree with that.
And he's got to use Muay Thai in boxing, dude. Like what the fuck?
I would have loved, guys. We've seen Canelo fight taller guys, bigger guys. That's for sure. He's a small super middleweight. He even went up to light heavyweight. What I would have liked to see is Floyd fight a guy like Margarito or a guy like Paul Williams.
Yeah, whatever. That dude's retired, man.
He dubbed those guys.
Hold on. I'll tell you what he does when you do cut the distance. He'll hug the fuck out of you like he did with Pacquiao and Madonna the first time. When they cut the distance, he was just fucking hard with them.
But Floyd did fight De La Hoya.
Yeah, Floyd did fight De La Hoya.
Hey man, fuck that. That dude's not fighting.
Wait. Hold on.
Go look at De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. Look at like the first few rounds before De La Hoya got fucking tired, like he always does.
Hold on, man. Fuck that.
De La Hoya was running that fucking jab, man. What about the distance that Floyd controls? He was getting out jabbed, man.
I think you could argue De La Hoya.
I should do a video on that.
This fight is just about. Let me cut in. Come on. De La Hoya got robbed. It was the passing of the torch. We all know this. If you were there, you were there. If you were there, you were there.
The most racist fight.
Let me cut in. Look, let me cut in.
Since
They want to break down the fight. Let's break it down. Let's get fucking technical, right? So, would you guys say that Canelo has a better defense than someone like Avanesian and someone like Madrimov?
Yeah,
easily, right? Easily, right or no?
Easy.
I'd say he has better defense.
Okay, so I'll say yes, right? Okay, so when Crawford fought Avanesian, you know his landing percentage punches was 13%.
You hate black people.
Bro, don't bring up them fucking boxers.
He threw 600 punches in that fight, bro. He was only landing at 13%. His power had to bail him out in that fight. And what kind of defense does Avanesian have? He just has a simple high guard, and he walks in on you. He couldn't break that high guard. Do you think he's going to break Canelo's? Well, Madrimov. Look, let me finish. Let me finish. Well, Madrimov, he landed like 21% of his punches, dude. And Madrimov was just had that herky jerky side to side head movement, right? Canelo has more than both of those guys with those two styles. So you're gonna tell me he's gonna land at a higher percentage and beat Canelo? He had his power bail him out against Avanesian.
And so, what about
how did
he break Avanesian's power knock him out?
And so, what about that?
I don't know. His gloves exploded, and then he knocked him out. Look, let's get on that too. Let's get on that too, right? Because his glove exploded, and then the commission let him kept fighting with those defective gloves, and he knocks him out 2 seconds later. That was kind of strange.
Is this fight about race?
That was really strange.
Guess what? Canelo had a banned substance in his body and he's still fighting.
Is this fight about racial dominance?
He wasn't fighting.
Crawford's on snack. What's your point, bro?
Is this fight with Terrence and Canelo?
Okay. I didn't say that. I know he's on snack. I know.
Why bring it up?
Because he's talking about Crawford so-called cheating.
That's why you gotta be biased. No, hold on. Wait. Look, you're trying to harp on some cheating. I didn't say nothing about cheating, dude. I brought up the percentages of punches landed. I was talking about.
You said his gloves exploded. And then he
shut the fuck up with that shit, dude. I brought up the percentages, dude. I brought the percentages. 13%.
Did anyone hear him say 13%? He landed 13%, and he landed 21%. Anybody hear him talk about exploding gloves? Did anyone hear that? I'm not the only one that heard that, right?
Big Shay, do you think this fight's about race?
Look, he landed 13% on Avanesian. His power bailed him out.
Bro, who gives
a fuck 21% on Madrimov?
You're bringing fucking box. You're bringing
I don't know.
You didn't hear my question?
You're bringing
Canelo have better defense than those guys. Does Canelo have better defense than those guys? The answer was yes.
You're talking about numbers in the debate. You're talking about numbers in the debate.
Those guys that never so was mentioned.
You're talking about numbers in the debate, bro. Where'd you get that from? CopyBox? You got that from CopyBox?
I don't know. You guys should rewind. The best boxer Canelo has faced lately was Bivol, and he lost that fight, right? A light heavyweight taller than him, and extremely good boxing skills. There were moments where the Canelo did pretty good at moving his head. He was actually on the ropes, and Bivol, the bigger Bivol, was hesitant to actually rush Canelo or getting on the inside. So I don't see how Crawford is going to be more active against Canelo or more. He's not going to be afraid of anything.
Butcho, can I ask you a question?
Management, man.
Yeah.
Butcho, can I ask you a question? How do you think Crawford would have done against Bivol?
Hold on a minute. Are you picking Crawford because you're a black guy?
Yes, he is. He is.
Yeah, basically.
No, he said he gave reasons. He didn't say.
No, he's picking because it's black. Listen, man, this fight is about race, man. It's about black people versus.
It is. I agree.
It's about race. It's a race fight. It's a race fight.
To make it about race, we're trying not to.
Man, that's that.
It does get racial.
Get the fuck out of here with that casual talk.
You want to? Hold on. All the Africans are picking Crawford, bro.
I'm gonna give you
even the white ones.
Yeah, the fight's about race. It's about race.
I'm gonna give you guys a tell to look for during the fight. I think Crawford's gonna come out and he's gonna fight from the outside. He's not gonna want to risk getting too close to Canelo.
Wow.
But if in the middle of the fight you see Crawford start to move into mid-range, watch out.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He's getting knocked out.
Yeah, I agree.
Watch out.
He's gonna knock. Are you really?
He's gonna fight like Charlo.
Crawford automatically gets knocked out, but Canelo hasn't knocked someone out in 2021. That's the last knockout he's had.
How many guys has he fought that was close in him?
He's not knocking Crawford out.
How many guys are big as fuck, man?
So wait. So you think
Charlo was big as fuck? Charlo was big as fuck?
Not.
Exactly.
Charlo was like the same size as Bivol. He was hiding at 54.
No, guys.
I don't care about his height. We're not talking about his height.
Guys, he didn't knock out Charlo. But how did Charlo fight?
He fought like a bitch.
I agree. No, I agree. He fought.
I mean, it's not like Charlo put on a competitive fight, and he didn't get knocked out. It's that he went there not to fight. So he didn't get knocked out.
I agree. Hey, Bucho.
That's what you have to do. Yes.
But Bucho, I agree with that. But at the same time, we can't just blame Charlo for what he did. Yes, he fought very atrocious. But at the same time, Canelo can't cut the ring effectively, bro. He just can't.
Nah, we gotta blame the ref for giving him point. We need to start blaming the ref handing out point deductions, or he should have DQ'd him for fighting like that.
Yeah, he had multiple times in the fight. Go back and watch that fight.
Here's the thing, though. You can be good cutting off the ring because that's like the same thing that everybody says, and that's when I know, like, particularly like people that mention that shit like over and over and over. I can tell they never like boxed before, because you also have to know how to cut off the distance. If you don't know how to cut off the distance, you pretty much, you can cut off the ring all you want, and you don't really doing nothing. But also, there is a such thing as the other fighter not trying to engage. Me being in the amateurs, like I also seen it and I fought guys like that before, that they mainly like take like 2 step backs just like basketball, like 2 step backs or like 2 step back or like mainly like just running. Like if you see like the fight in slow motion, you can see their bodies turning around and like actually running while they're looking back.
Yeah, they are arranged. I mean, you take 2 steps back, you're arranged. You can
exactly. So like like there is no way in hell that if you are like if you're not fighting distance, because the rules of boxing, you have to be first, you have to be square in the same position. That's why ducking below the waist is illegal, because you opening the back of your neck. That's like the the legal range when you have to fight, square. That's why, like, I don't know if any of you train before. I think that's old school way. I don't think nobody trains like that. It's like you stuck your front foot in a big tire, with somebody else, and therefore you could just move around and like. What happened?
You know what we used to call that back in the days? It's called hot box. You can't. You got to right in the middle. You got to just fight. That's it. You use your defense. You use your defense, your arms, your slipping skills. That's how you pick that up.
I used to train like that, and I used to train like that, doing that and Shark Tank style. You have different guys with different sizes, bringing different things every single round. You're stuck in that fucking tire, so you couldn't like run or do like slick shit, like like hugging guys and things like that. Like if you hurt, you better push. So like that's the thing, that's actual boxing, And the thing is, you will see like guys that will never know by the defense. Like I mentioned this before, like Pacquiao. There were not many fights that you see his face like all scratched up with like dark eyes and shit like that, and he wasn't known by his slick defense, quote unquote. So like, you can miss me with all that bullshit. Like,
Can we just call them stallers already? Because that's really what they fucking are.
Yeah, that's pretty much my whole explanation. Was like the whole thing, right? Like, like you see like guys like don't really know by their defense. Like you don't see them like all scratch stops or like cuts and shit like that.
Yeah, they think track and field is defense. It's fucking retarded. I mean, my bad. It's incompetent.
For the link in the chat.
Listen, the only guys who actually like messed up Pacquiao were guys who messed up everybody else, like Cotto and like Margarito and things like and guys like that. But other than that, there were not many guys who like I was because one, Margarito was like a huge size difference, and two, nobody who got in the ring with Cotto got him skate. Everybody saying the same thing, like, damn, that motherfucker want to make it retire.
I mean, if you think about Canelo, if you think about Triple G, if you think about the Pacquiao Cotto fight, and Cotto, obviously Cotto won in dominant fashion. I think with the little punches that he caught him with, he busted Pacquiao's eardrum.
Pacquiao eardrum, yeah.
Busted that fucking eardrum.
You remember? I recognize. Remember, like right after the post conference, Pacquiao looked like a damn mummy. Like he looked like the guy who lost.
Punched drunk. Yeah, he was punch drunk. Yeah, he was like,
I just want to go to the hospital.
Well, and also that comes into play.
Nah, bro.
Pacquiao was obviously the guy moving up in weight, so after his shots, are going to be, much more
Yeah,
damaging.
but the point is,
Hey, let me
Miguel
finish.
Cotto's face was way more damaging.
Hey, let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, but that goes to like when you go up in weight, even if you get touched by something little, it's gonna leave a hard mark on you. We can see that with Canelo. Sometimes he gets marked up by bigger guys, even if they don't necessarily land a lot on him. That's just what happens when you move in weight. And yeah, Pacquiao did bust up.
The point is, Quentin, the point was like you don't have like you see how these guys like making up the excuse like, oh no, because Phil's defensive fighter and shit like that. Like, but like my point was like you see these guys, they don't know by the defensive skills. Like you don't see them with many scratches or like purple eyes on their faces and shit like that. The guys who actually like messed up Pacquiao like that or like really like hurt him like that was like guys like Margarito, which he was huge compared to Pacquiao, and Cotto, and as I mentioned before, everybody who like being in the ring with Cotto had been hurt.
Yep.
Say Mayweather. What Mayweather said, that motherfucker hit you like in the top of the head, hit you everywhere. Motherfucking one. Well, Mayweather retired like for like what, a year or two, right after that fight.
Yeah, he was
like right after that fight, Mayweather became defensively. Like. That's what I'm saying, like and even Margarito was saying like I was lucky when I knocked him down because that motherfucker was besting on my jaw.
Yeah, that's why these fighters like Pacquiao, Canelo, Lomachenko, Usyk, these guys are much smaller men fighting these bigger guys. Yeah, we see they're not necessarily getting really hurt by these big punches. They have this good poker face. And, it's just amazing that they're able to back up these bigger guys and hurt them more than what they get hurt by. So it seems. So we got to give those guys credit.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Defense is underrated.
And it's not a surprise. I always say like all this with Devin Haney and a lot of these fighters sucking down in weight, they're taking away from their own abilities and performances, man. If people had same day weigh-ins, everybody has to be forced to move up, but they would get 100% out of their abilities. Instead, they use snack, these designer shit that people.
Listen,
everybody's on shit.
Here's the thing. Hold on, Southpaw. I'm gonna kind of disagree with you. Look, the whole pound for pound thing comes when adversity is part of the game, right? So, some guy I'm going up in weight. He's already bigger than me in terms of the weight class that he fights in because he's bigger. Then on top of that, he just puts on more weight, right? He just puts on a lot more weight come fight night. The fact that I go up there and compete with this guy or beat him, right? Just straight out beat him, just proves that I'm just above everybody else. My point of bringing that up is that, there's always going to be these new rules, right? And you look at that in every sport. Every sport does things a bit different. In boxing, now you got these guys come in 20 pounds heavier, right? They fucking come of the weight limit, and that's just what they're dealing with. That's what they got to deal with. The guy who rises above that is just that he's on another level. He's just much better than everybody else. That's the reason why there's all-time greats. Hall of Famers, all that shit.
Yeah, and I agree, but I also think it depends on the fighter. I mean, like somebody just said it right now. They listed off the names: Canelo, Usyk, Lomachenko, Pacquiao, Mayweather. All those guys never starved to make weight, and they were all elite. So it's like, yeah, that's why I always tell fighters, man. I've been with fighters when they're dehydrated, and it's just like, bro, like it's like starving for a week and then trying to run a marathon, after trying to hyperhydrate.
So Southpaw, I'm gonna give you. Here's the thing, though. Like I'm with you 100%, but also let's just act to the fact these dudes they're staying on a weight class for way too long. Like for example, one of the examples like one is Devin Haney. Motherfuckers was at 135 for like 10 years. Even though he well knew he was like outweighing that class, you know what I mean?
But you know why he stayed there so long though? I think. Well, this is just my theory. Like I think he stayed there so long because he knew at the higher weights he's not going to be able to take the shots, like because he's chinny. I think he's always known he has chin issues, and he doesn't have power.
No, but
so he's like, I better suck down and try to be way bigger than these guys.
I think so, but at the same time, it's like they're having so much of an advantage, but also at the same time, it's like you know how like other fighters they always start on a weight class. They're not necessarily champions. They're just like ranking rounds. Like for example, I hate to like pull him as again, but like Canelo when he started at 140, at 147, he never was like changing for titles or anything like that. He was just ranking rounds, right? And then on his third division is like when he started like racking up belts and things like that. But also because he was so young. But these guys they also start like so young, but not necessarily accomplish anything in that particular weight class. Even the weight class they weight bully, they never like they're nothing special. They're never lineal. They're never this, and the way they get to the top is by like like shady ways. So my point is, it's an advantage, right? But also at the end it became a disadvantage because now like look at Devin Haney. He's a fighter with no weight class right now. They want to drop him at 147, but right now he took that fight because let's be honest, I hate to put like boxer's personal life out there, but everybody knows he struggled with the baby mama drama. So
oh damn,
you better collect
He doesn't fight any punch. He doesn't fight any punches. The one he did fight, he got knocked out.
He fought punchers. I think he fought punchers. He fought Ryan.
And what I hate here is the punches. Who were the punchers after Ryan?
Devin trains hard just to be average, bro. If you really look at it, just to be average. When you consider that he's much bigger than the guy he's fighting on average, right? So on average, when he fights guys, he's the bigger guy. He's not knocking them out. He's getting touched up. He's winning controversial decisions. When he does fight guys that are his size, they're either beating the shit out of him or he's running away from them. He's an average.
And he's got an American passport, fighting mainly in America. That
the politics are always on his side. But what I'm hearing lately, and it drives me nuts, is everybody's like, "Oh, with Devin Haney, he's got balls, he's got guts, he's a warrior, he's fighting Norman." I'm like, bro, he doesn't have a chance.
Guys, give Haney a Mexican passport in his career, and let me know how he gets on.
But the thing is, I don't think it's like he has guts and he's stepping up to the plate. I mean, honestly, can Devin Haney go out and cherry pick some people and just not fight a named fighter and sell? No, because if he does that, only 2,000 people are going to show up. Nobody's going to watch. So he knows he has to take these fights. If not, he's going to be embarrassed. Yeah, he's going to be embarrassed because nobody's going to show up. Yeah, and I think Turkey's already fed up with him.
Haney is out of options. Exactly. Who else can he fight? There's really nobody. And that's the easiest fight, but it's still a dangerous fight.
When did he run out of options? And when did Haney run out of options? Is when he stopped being able to make
I think also Devin Haney, I don't think he's really stupid. I mean, I get it. He ran out of options and all that, but this is like the perfect time to catch somebody like Norman. Norman is not necessarily like the best guy defensively. He doesn't really move his head. He's he jabs. Like,
he's a gatekeeper. He's a bloody good guy.
I'm just saying. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. My point is, this is like actually the perfect time to like catch somebody like Norman, somebody who doesn't necessarily have championship experience. Your best guy was somebody who was coming up as well in Santillan, and the knocked up the Japanese guys. I mean, come on. So I think this is the perfect time to catch him. I still give him credit because he wasn't really forced to. But other than that guy, being this green, because Norman is like 23 years old. He doesn't really have championship experience, and I don't really think he's gonna get like way better unless he fights on the biggest stage. And I think also I think also that this is like one of the few chances like Devin Haney can actually like be close to headlining a show, because I think the gig is up with the Haneys. I think everybody understand their scam. I think the gig is up. I don't really think they will never headline any card. So I think they're just trying to like be as relevant as possible. Well, win, lose or draw, I think just throwing everything on the table because we all that baby covered back on.
This is the fight where he can win a belt. This is a fight that can set him up to fight the winner of Pacquiao against Barrios. If Pacquiao wins that fight, he gets a title. Now Pacquiao's gonna obviously try to stay in the sport, and he's gonna try to unify the division. So if Haney manages to get a welterweight title, he could be next. That's a big payday.
Can you imagine? You have to
Yo,
kind of hope that Pacquiao beats fucking Barrios in order to make this fucking fraud that might beat Brian Norman. He might. I still hold that as a might because what happens when he gets hit? That's what I'm thinking about.
And recognize this is what I wanted to ask the panel. When did we say that Haney ran out of options? He started running out of options when we found out that he can't make 135 to 140 anymore. That's when he started.
That's it. That's when he ran. I think that look, Severino makes a good point about picking a guy like Brian Norman, and like it's a way to. It's probably the easier route to pick up a title with a guy with a relative kind of name, but that's not a guaranteed. What you're hoping is. What you're hoping is that he doesn't meet adversity in that fight. And I don't want to bank on a guy that, in a sport called punching, right? Boxing, that he doesn't get punched at least one time where, he gets hurt. Listen, that dude is a fucking fraud. And they're dragging his ass to the finish line. They're literally dragging him. He collapsed a long time ago, and they're dragging him. Like, come on, we're gonna get you to the finish line. Come on, just the finish line. Don't worry about it. And he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, that Bill Haney sees the vulnerabilities. He sees the weaknesses. He knows.
He might. Yeah. Okay. Look at. He ran from Ramirez as if Ramirez was one of the biggest punchers that ever lived.
Thought he was Golovkin in there.
That's his style, man. He won the fight.
He fight like that before. No, but he mostly clinches though, Mucho. Remember?
Yeah, he clinched, jab, jab. But he broke his shoe running. That's crazy. And it's a weird move. Hey, the only person I think that Devin has that chance of beating is Tio, and the only reason I say that is because Tio doesn't like to lead. If you make Tio lead, he doesn't know what to do. He likes to kind of just explode on you with the counter shot. But and Devin Haney's not going to lead. He's just going to jab and kind of move, jab and move. So that was the only guy he has a shot with. So watching him take on Brian Norman is bizarre, man. I think Turkey's like, I'm done with these runners, man. I think he just like, I'm going to feed these guys. I'm going to put their feet to the fire. I already overpaid you more than what you bring in, more than what your value really is. So he's like, he's sick of it, man. I think the Turkey has to be fed up. And then when you got guys like Dana White, I don't like Dana, but he's a no bullshit guy. I guarantee he's telling Turkey behind closed doors, yo, man, we need to just feed this guy to the wolves because he's not going to help.
He's another hypocrite. He's another hypocrite.
Yeah, I don't like him, but we need him because that's how far.
We don't need him. We don't need him.
He might be a hypocrite.
Yeah, we do because that's how far boxing has went down. Because
that's why the Diva era is in full effect in the UFC.
Bro, he might be a hypocrite, but he might not. He might be looking at Haney as like, this guy ain't worth shit.
Nah, here's the thing about the thing about Dana. I think Dana is a good idea just for now. Is because things that doesn't really involve his mind, his ideas. I think he's gonna reject them, and he doesn't really fuck with them as the guy who mentioned before. Like he sees the Haney for what he is, even though he's probably not allowed to say in public, or probably he won't say because it's bad professional practices to shit on somebody who you're promoting. But the thing is, I think you're right. I think the Dana sees what he is, which is scammer, and I think the gig is up with the Haneys.
But we need a dictator in boxing, and it sucks because all the fights weren't getting made, politics were getting in the way. So you need a bull in a china shop to come in and say no more bullshit. I mean, that's how Don King was. Don King was fucking ripping fighters off. He was bad for the fighters, but guess what? We got some crazy ass cards. He put the best cards together. He had 4 championship fights in one card. We need somebody that's just gonna come in and just say,
Dana White's not the guy. He flips too much.
It's not about being a dictator or just being logical.
Dana White flip flops too much. That's my issue.
But with these American fighters, you have to, because look how bratty they are. Look at Tank, Devin, Ryan, Tio, fucking who else?
Yeah, but the thing is,
bratty, you can't say, okay, we'll give you some say so, because they've been trying that, and guess what? We're getting fucked.
But the guys that you mentioned is because they it's because the promoters they're under the cucks, Eddie Hearn.
I mean, look at Keyshawn. Keyshawn's another example. Like I kind of saw it coming when he started a while ago when he was talking about, hey Floyd, let's link up. I want Floyd to promote me. I'm like, what? And now we're seeing he's just another version of a brat, just like those guys. So you need somebody that's just gonna come in and say, no more bullshit, guys. We're gonna do it our way. Because honestly, bro, the UFC's killing us, man. I can't stand the UFC. I don't like MMA at all. But bro, that's when you talk to casuals, anybody on the street, they'll know more about MMA than boxing for sure.
It's true.
It's not UFC killing. It's not the UFC killing us. We are killing ourselves. Killing itself.
Exactly.
Let's not get it twisted. They're not doing anything incredible to beat us.
Exactly.
They just, we're just fucking dropping the ball with these faggot ass boxers.
Right, man. He's right about that.
But Canelo's our last star, guys. Canelo's our last real pay-per-view HBO era, the HBO level. Remember when HBO was king?
What about AJ though?
Who?
AJ. You don't think he can still sell?
In the UK, but AJ's shot.
I mean, but you don't think he can still sell though?
I don't think boxing needs go ahead. Recognize
more of a UK sensation. He's not. I don't know if he's worldwide. I don't think so.
What about Jake Paul?
Can I just say I don't think boxing needs a Canelo or a Joshua. I mean, it helps, but it's not necessary for the sport to thrive. As long as we have multiple champions, exciting boxers, and fighting consistently, and having good cards, the sport can do pretty well. And then we can wait it out, and then eventually Canelo's gonna rise up out of nowhere.
Here's the thing.
It's not like we don't have a Canelo, therefore the sport is in shambles or is in trouble. No, we can have multiple good boxers, maybe not Canelo level, but they can hold the sport.
Let me ask you a question. After Canelo and then before him, Pacquiao, Mayweather, and then before them, De La Hoya, Trinidad, whatever. You know what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Can they create, with the way the system is set up today, can they create another star like those guys?
Of course they can. It's never ending. There will always be stars and superstars. The person.
No, we need a dominant platform.
Yeah, the problem is they need the personalities. We need the personalities. The Canelo's a huge star because of what he's done, but it also helps his career, his CV. Yeah, but it also helps him having a mad boxing nation behind him, like Mexico. They're number one, mad for boxing in the world, passion-wise.
But guess who started him?
That is a machine in itself. That helps.
HBO was the machine. That was the vehicle that everybody respected. There was no like this channel, The Zone, ESPN, all these fractured things where people knew HBO was what the UFC is to MMA. When the casuals say, I'm going to watch boxing, they knew HBO was the best of the best. And I think that's why Dana's coming in. They're like, we got to UFC this and if we're not going to have any more stars after Canelo, we got to make the brand bigger because in the UFC, the brand is bigger than the fighters. People don't even know who's fighting in the UFC. They just know it's UFC.
Well, the personalities, you have to wait. It's generational, isn't it? The person that boxers to be great, they need to have that personality, the charisma, unless they're crazy. Unless they knock out merchants and what have you. But those personalities...
The brand is bigger than most fighters.
Unfortunately, we got boxers at the top with no personality, like Tupac Shakur. I mean, Stephen Shakur, Haney, even Tank. Tank's known because of he knocks dudes out, yeah? So he gets a bit of, they love in America.
But you still got to have somewhat of
personality. Even UFC, they're worried when Conor went. They're trying to promote this UK guy now from Liverpool. Yeah, what's his name? Because he's got personality and swag and charisma. Yeah, sells
they
ticket.
Need another Rousey. They need a Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor.
There'll be some talk and personality. A great guy can talk and walk it. There'll be a guy who'll come along and then they'll promote him.
But we're in uncharted territory in boxing.
That's one thing.
It is because unfortunately it doesn't help. It doesn't help when American boxing is at its lowest it's ever been. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
And America is the biggest machine. And when the biggest machine is it's ever been, it does not help. They're only surviving because of the Mexican market. Yeah, because if it wasn't the Mexican market fighting the Americans, they would be totally dead. Europe would have it all, literally.
Well, these Eastern Europeans are taking over.
Europe has got half of boxing at least now, yeah? Half of it. It used to have only 10%. It used to only have 10%. Now it's got at least half of it. As in the whole.
Here's my question, right? Now that Munguia has pretty much crashed out, what other Mexican fighter can take Canelo's place?
Vargas.
Marco Verde, remember the name. That kid's the real deal.
Marco Verde. Yep.
He's a real deal, trust me.
Marco
Is
Verde.
that the Mexican Olympian?
Yep, silver medalist.
Yes,
yep.
sir.
Okay.
Marco Verde in the ring, but we don't know. He talks English, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also very
he was
charismatic.
born in America, I think. Was he born in America? No.
He's Canelo's protege, bro. So yeah, he's gonna do fine.
Yeah. You got to speak a bit of English also, like Usyk and Bivols and them guys. But even them, they struggle because they're from fucking, far away land, and they don't speak the English like that. And
Oh, the thing is, Hispanics don't need English in the United States. I didn't make it up. It's true.
they don't need it, no.
I like Vargas, man. I'm rooting for Vargas.
Yeah, to
But
recognize
it helps, though. It helps to sell the fights, this, that, and the other. Look at, it does help a bit. It would have helped GG. It would have helped even. I mean, it didn't. Yeah, it does. It does help speaking
Look
the
at
language.
Canelo now. He's speaking English in the. Imagine if he didn't speak any fucking English. How that press conference with Crawford would have been. It would have been terrible.
Yeah, it would have been shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Canelo now. The way he speaks English, it's actually. Then he sounds like a gangster. It's gangster. He sounds like a gangster. It's good. It's like that sort of. Halfway there English, but it sounds like a gangster. It's cool as fuck. It is.
Well, he's a salty bastard. That helps,
But yeah, Recognize brought up, how do you create the next superstar? Well, you really don't create a superstar. It's either you have this organic following where people, every time you fight, people want to watch you, whether it be how you fight, what you look like, where you're from, all that kind of stuff. Like Ryan Garcia, if he actually could, obviously he's a lost cause, but if Ryan Garcia had that type of following, but he could never put it all together in the ring, he would have been the next guy up if he would have been able to put it.
He had the whole, he's got the marketing. Look at, you got to be Mike Tyson. I mean, he couldn't speak for shit, could he? He had a lisp, but it's the aura, isn't it? He had the look. Also, did have the look that helped. Of course, that helped.
Nah, Mike Tyson had a personality, man.
He had that devastating power. That
Mike Tyson, he wasn't talking for shit though. He was a little shy dude with a lisp.
He was only shy like when he had like the temporary wife of his, but interviews and things like that. Remember the interview he had, like he was describing what's his name, Muhammad Ali. The way he described his opponents, like he's pretty fluent. He just like the way he speaks used to be kind of cringe.
He had his knowledge, he had crazy knowledge, everything, but he wasn't flashy talking, trying to this. He was just.
Oh no! But that's even. But that was even better because that was his. People like him because of his personality, the way he was.
But they be liking him because of how he looks and his aura and his knockouts. It.
And here's the thing: believe it or not, I think people perceive him as humble because. When you see him on the press conferences and the way he used to speak, like with a laid back demeanor, because I think he had a laid back demeanor, but I don't really think he was shy at all. I think he was more like a guy who had like a laid back demeanor, but you wouldn't think he was like so much of a personality, because everybody who met Mike back in the days, he used to be like a party guy. He used to get along with everybody, that's why like he used to like get to know rappers like Tupac and shit like that. Like he was out there like that.
They wanted to get to know him.
Hey, let me throw Edgar Belanga's name too to the list of annoying American fighters. Hey, did y'all see that Hamza Shiraz where he was walking around New York
interviewing people, asking them if they knew who Berlanga was because he's the king of New York, and he just trolled them, man. Everybody was like, "We don't know who that is. Who the fuck is that?"
Hey guys, talking about the Berlanga. Talking about the Berlanga fight, Berlanga's the slight underdog. Does anyone think Berlanga can win? I think Berlanga can win.
I think lose.
Yeah, I don't rate the Sharif that much. Sharif
well, hold on. I think he can win.
I have a feeling Berlanga's going to win that fight.
Of course. Claro, tú tienes el tuyo. No, but my thing is...
I don't fuck with that dude. I don't like him.
I think he had to hit
Berlanga winning. Has anyone got Berlanga winning, basically?
I
have it.
I hope he gets embarrassed.
Hold on. I have the fight as a 50-50. I mean, I like Shiraz. I like his boxing style a little bit, but the thing is, now he doesn't really have like so much of a crazy advantage that he had at 160. You know, he usually was like the bigger guy.
The last fight, did it?
Yeah, he didn't look all that great, but something that exposed his last fight is like if he can really hear his opponents, he doesn't really can outbox them that much, and I mean he don't really have to worry about getting outboxed by Berlanga by any means. But something that Berlanga said that I think is actually true. I think he has a great chin, even though like he's been knocked down a couple of times. I think he just with Canelo he got hit by surprise. So he wasn't expecting the left hook, or he stand up, but you know he came back up, right? And then the Coceres fight, I think he just got knocked out of balance like a dumbass. So
I just think Berlanga has hey guys, Berlanga as the underdog is great value if you're betting. I think it's great value as the underdog.
The reason why I know Berlanga has a good chin or he's a very strong dude is that when you look at the knockdowns, hold on, let me just say this: the two knockdowns that he suffered in his career, those were punches he clearly didn't see coming, and the fact that he was able to get up and continue fighting, that tells you that because he's very strong, he has a really good chin. Basically,
that and recognize he wasn't really he wasn't clinching like when he got knocked down either.
He didn't get shook when Canelo hit him. He didn't get shook either time he went down. But what I don't like about him is that he just sometimes he just won't follow through. Even when he has you, he won't follow through. Sometimes if he feels like he's in danger. So I don't know, man. He might be he gets hit a lot. I think that's going to be Shiraz's advantage, but then we all know that chin of those dudes in that region, like they don't have the best chin. I don't know, like Amir Khan and all that stuff. Like those, I don't trust.
I think racist.
I think Shiraz is.
I don't trust his chin. That's all it is. That's all it is.
I think Shiraz.
I don't know.
I think Shiraz is he's gonna easily win the jab battle, and once that happens, I think he's gonna knock out Berlanga.
Well, Shiraz was killing himself to make weight.
Do you guys think Turkey's favoring Shiraz?
Oh, I think so. Why would you favor him?
Also, I mean, I can see ways that Shiraz can win, but the thing is, again, I think he can win it if he can hurt Berlanga. Because Berlanga is so much of a dumbass that
the odds also went down a lot. I noticed, and I'm not trying to be funny here. When Turkey posted that picture of Crawford, the baby Crawford picture, remember, not a few days ago at the weekend? Did anyone see that? Randomly, Turkey tweeted a picture of Crawford as a baby, his face. Just a random picture, as in, I'm in love with this baby. The odds went absolutely down. Do you know this picture? Have you seen it?
Oh, I didn't know the odds. I didn't know the odds went down. I didn't. It affected the odds.
I can't believe you cut me off to say that shit.
The money went. The odds went down because they know who the baby is. The baby's Crawford, the one they're looking after. Yeah.
So, I mean, every promoter does. I mean, even Canelo said, "Hey, we know Turkey's favoring you, or he's in your corner, or whatever." But he's like, Turkey's gonna be. He said, "What did he say?" He said, "Turkey's gonna be real sad."
That's to be questioned. Why would he post a picture of a Crawford baby face with nothing else?
No comment. Him, Furioso.
That's weird as fuck. That's why it stinks, dude. I don't like
No, I'm
it.
saying because he's banging him.
He must be, and that's
Listen,
what I
man.
mean. If Crawford, and that's what I keep saying, if Crawford don't get that fucking knockout,
Listen,
right?
the rumor, the
He's
rumor.
gonna get it
Canelo
later
don't
on.
get the
He's gonna get it later on in the meet for real.
Hold on a second.
If that's what I keep saying, if he doesn't get the knockout, they're gonna babysit Crawford.
Isn't Turkey promoting both guys?
Yeah, I
Yes.
still look. Okay, Furioso. Why
That
do
doesn't
they
make any
want
sense.
Crawford to
Of
win
course
again?
he's gonna want to amplify this whole thing.
Yes, I'll tell you why he wants Crawford to win, because he's trying to get big business in America, right? It's not just boxing business. So if he looks after the American guy, business enterprise in the future, it'll be easier for him.
What future are you talking about?
Yeah, he's old, man.
Business future.
You're going to get more than Canelo in this deal. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think Turkey's ideal.
It's too complex
What
for
are you
boxing,
talking
dude.
about?
It's too complex.
Okay, if he chooses Crawford and let's say Crawford wins on the scorecards and he fudges the numbers, who's Crawford going to fight next that's going to give him as much money?
Canelo rematch. Points.
Yeah, that's the ideal thing. A good fight, trilogy.
Yeah, Canelo rematch. What are we talking about? Then the Canelo rematch after points robbery would make silly money. Silly money still.
Or a Floyd.
I mean, both guys are at their end. I think it's just they're going to launch their brand. They're trying to launch his new brand.
At the end, he's like playing with both of them. Canelo and Crawford are both at the end. Come on, let's face it. So it's like it doesn't matter to who he plays around, who he abuses, so to speak. He's clearly abusing Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He loves his baby pictures. So that's why I keep saying, if it goes to points, the baby will be looked after. You get me? The nappy will be changed. His ass is going to get wiped by Turkey. Clearly, he's tweeting baby pictures of him, for fuck's sake. Stinks. I can't believe it. He must have been high on meth or something out there in Saudi to fucking post it or something.
This is my beach, everyone. Look.
No, it's random as fuck. You saw it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Look at
it's crazy.
This is my beach, everyone.
Look at
let's get back to Shiraz and Berlanga.
Baby, I can tell.
Shiraz and
I have a question for Recognize.
I've got Berlanga winning. I do. I can't. I do like the odds. I'm influenced by the odds. The money line. It's decent.
Recognize. I have a question. How's the training camp coming along? How's Berlanga looking?
I think that that's the one guy Turkey might rig the scorecards for.
But Hamza, I look, and I called that shit recognized because he's gonna want what? He's gonna want a fellow Muslim on top. You know what I mean? He's gonna guide one of his guys to the top of the sport. Before you know it, Hamza's gonna be the first Pakistani motherfucker on the pound for pound list. Wait, what about Amir Khan?
I could see Turkey's plan playing out like this. Yeah, everybody thinks this is a setup for Crawford to win against Canelo, but they thought the same thing for Fury. That and those two fights, especially the first fight, were close. Where they could have snuck one in for Fury, right?
No. Who say one convincingly? I'm a Fury fan. I'm a Fury fan, dude, and I could be here saying, "No, you got to rob." No. You got to be fair and square. They couldn't rob Usyk. They couldn't.
No, I agree with you.
And he's the guy that wanted to win anyway. I believe he didn't need the favor. He won easy, not easy, but he won fair and square. He didn't need the favor. Crawford might need the favor on the cards. And if it's close or whatever is what I'm saying, they'll favor him.
I'm not too sure. This is the reason why, okay? Because I think that if you look at the scorecards, most of the ones that I've seen, and you outside of the Shiraz Adames, they look, at least in my point of view, they look pretty fair. What I'm saying is that a lot of people could be thinking that if the fight's close, and really Canelo won and Crawford is just getting a gift. I'm saying that Canelo could win that fight because he could get a fair shake on the scorecards because you can make a Canelo versus Shiraz. and that would be huge for Turkey.
That's
He would love
exactly what I was gonna say. Recognize. Thank you, bro. Because Furioso's saying that he thinks that they'll set up Canelo against Crawford. If anybody, bro, they're gonna set up a future fight with Shiraz because he was already offered the fight. I think before he fought, was it Jaime? He was offered the fight and he turned it down.
Interesting. For who? The Shiraz fight for who?
Hamza Canelo. He'd offered him a fight and he turned it down.
Yeah, that's that's a fair angle. That is.
So what I could see is, look, what do you do when you're trying to build fighters, right? When you're trying to build a fight with two guys, they fight common opponents. You see how Hamza's going to fight Berlanga next, right? He gets past that dude. Canelo gets past Crawford. He beats Eubank. Hamza fights somebody else. And, at the end of Canelo's deal, 3-4 fights down. Hold on, let me finish. At the end of Canelo's fights deal, when he's like, a little more war-torn, say he's 35-36, then you try to get Hamza, and then you try to get him to beat him on the cards. Because now you're
This is the best. This is the most rational.
Maybe Turkey's acting like he's in love with Crawford, but really he isn't.
That was the most rational assessment I've heard for a while. This is the most rational. I don't know who said that. Was it Amick?
It was Never Sobers, man. Come on, man.
Never so. Yeah, well, dude, you made a great.
Yeah, I'll take the credit. I'll take the credit though.
Yeah,
no, it was actually me, Vessel. That was me.
I no, that was good because it's true. I think that the angle with Berlanga and Shiraz is going to be a good setup for a fight with Canelo and Shiraz in the future. I think that's a pretty good angle right there.
Yeah, I'm the one that brought it up, Don Madrazo. If you was paying attention,
what was that?
It was me that brought it up in the beginning. If you were paying attention, Madrazo.
Oh, okay. Well, then you then. Okay, let's everybody give him a hand job. Well, let's all give him a hand job for it. Yeah.
You always got me on the pay no mind.
Okay, I call the shaft.
No, hey, Never Sobers. Thanks for that assessment. Really good job, man. All right.
Yeah, thank
you. There's also a wild card. The wild card is the younger Benavidez because now he's doing business with Turkey, and that's another ace that he has in his pocket. We're like, okay, he's a younger guy. Maybe when these guys are all battling out, whoever's standing in the end,
yeah, they could build.
Canelo. If the Canelo's standing in the end, he can take out Canelo. Because by then Canelo's going to be really worn down. You know what I mean? So,
hey! What? I'm a Las Vegas fighter, though, man. Did you see that freaking crowd today? I'm a Las Vegas fighter.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree
He's with Turkey now.
I know. He has to. The TV's not going to give him any money. It's not going to make any money there.
I mean, but the thing is, if you're doing business, you don't just if somebody's going to offer you something, you don't just say, oh yes, I want your deal. Give me your deal. Please give me your deal. No, you play a little hardball. All fighters do it. Canelo did it, and he ended up getting paid a lot more than from Turkey than he would have if he would have just if Canelo would have just
the writing's on the wall because there's really nobody for him to fight at the PBC. They don't have any fighters for him. Who do they have? The logical.
The PBC is done. The PBC is done. But
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's only logical that the guy has to. The guy had to go somewhere else. There was no logical way he could stay at the PBC and fight in-house fighters. There's nobody there.
But I'm saying he's another player, another wild card because he's the younger guy. When he might be able. Boxing's all about timing. If all the great fighters have gotten
as soon as Canelo is done,
better fighters,
be a rising star, and hopefully Benavidez does well enough to do it. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can hold the weight. Charismatic. I don't think he's that charismatic, and I also don't think he's that good. I mean, he's good, but he's not that good. He's not beating Bivol.
I think he's solid. He's still developing, though. He's still developing. He's not. He's done.
Developed already enough. I don't think he's going to get any better than what he's gotten already, man. I don't think we're going to get much out of him. But hopefully whatever he has can take him further.
Well, you guys keep talking about young fighters. This goes to what Never Sober brought up. I mean, Shiraz is younger than Benavidez. He's like 25, 26 years old. And, if you're trying to build up the next this great Muslim fighter, but what's a bigger win than beating Canelo when he's on his last leg?
And then he's not that good though, Shiraz. He got exposed the last fight, dude. When it came down to it, he did because he's been bullying dudes, and then with that Adamus, his power didn't come through, and he was basically limited to his jab. And a weak ass right hand in the end.
That's why they're putting him in there with Berlanga. You know what I mean?
No.
He better not fight Canelo. Canelo break him in half. He's not that. He's not as good as Eddie Berlanga. I think. I honestly think, and Berlanga ain't all that.
I think he's still developing too, man. I don't think Shiraz.
Yeah, that's why the money line is even, pretty much even.
Shiraz did have a hand injury that was confirmed. He did like break his hand or something like that.
I mean, hand. I mean, come on, we can't be going in with hand injury. But that's what because he didn't get what he expected. I mean, that excuse is the most used one in boxing history.
The one thing I don't like about it is that he dumped his trainer. He dumped his trainer.
My shoulder was hurting.
He dumped Ricky Funes.
My wrist.
Seen that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want your take on guys. We talked about this before. I'm gonna read it again. The tweet, the expose from Turkey. I'm gonna read it. Where is it? Fuck. Hold on. Okay, here we go. It says Turkey Alashikh said, "We have a surprise for Shakur Stevenson on Saturday. A ring that shrinks as the fight goes on. Shakur says he's ready to deliver a beatdown on William Zepeda. And I know the Mexican is prepared for that challenge." So he says he has a ring that shrinks. I mean, people are saying it's a joke. But is this going to play?
I actually think they should use that in boxing. They should actually use that in boxing. That would be a great idea.
Yeah,
to stop
man. It's like
running.
I'm playing Fortnite right now, and that's what they do in Fortnite. You know, the storm comes and it shrinks the battlefield.
Yeah,
that's
make it harder as it gets to the end, so you get stoppages at the end. That would be a great idea for boxing going forward, because they could do that mechanically and engineering wise. They could easily do that. Great idea, though. I actually. For boxing, because when you did a live picture about Turkey winning knockouts, and we spoke about what ideas, etc., that would be a great idea to get more stoppages.
Right.
You want to know what also? Want to know what also helped for the stoppages? This might sound crazy, but let them put on some UFC gloves and then go at it.
Yeah, the last 6 rounds or last 3 rounds.
They're probably going to hurt their hands at some point.
Nah, they'll be good.
But like, what do you guys think that Turkey meant by that post? What was he like? It's a joke, obviously, but he's also trying to send a message. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm serious about this. I'm going to keep.
I think Turkey was playing a good politician at first when he first came on the scene. Now he's got his little military, what do you call it? His little unit going with Dana White heading it. And now he's like, all right, man, the gloves are off. I'm going to stop. I was being nice to y'all just to kind of get y'all into the room. And now things are set. And now we're going to do shit like the way we need to do it. Because Shakur's a runner. And fuck, man, like I expect him to run. So it's like, I think Turkey is getting advised properly by Dana saying, hey, man, we're not kissing these American fighters' asses like Shakur and Devin no more, because they don't bring us money. They're not fun to watch. They're not aesthetically pleasing.
You keep bringing up Dana. Dana's not that guy.
Well, hold on. Shakur is in the undercard. He's a co-main event. He's not the main event. So that already there shows you that something's changing, right? Because if it would have been a Bob Arum top rank card, you know damn well Shakur would have been the main event.
Yeah, he doesn't bring numbers in, does he? He doesn't bring numbers. These guys don't bring, and they know the numbers. They know the traction. They know the numbers, and he doesn't. They need someone to the right dance partner, don't they? They always have needed the dance partner to sell the fight. You know, like Canelo is the guy who's selling the against Crawford, so to speak. He is the guy who's selling.
William Zepeda style should be Shakur. He should beat him. He should win this fight.
Unless what?
Unless he gets robbed on scorecards or doesn't, for whatever reason, fight the way he usually does.
What about the dick punches? Stevenson loves those.
Well, I mean, if you count the dick punches and it's wearing him out, then he's going to lose the fight.
I have Stevenson winning that fight with only dick punches if he's allowed to.
There's only one way he can win, and that's if he implements his dick punches.
Aged well. Zepeda's last fight hasn't aged well. You know when he fought what's his name, the black American with the funny eyes?
Kevin Farmer?
Yeah, that fight has not aged well at all. It hasn't. You know, I know there was a
Farmer
rematch.
Got wiped out in the first round, man. Hilarious.
I don't know. Once again, he needs a knockout against Shakur. It's the same old story. You know, it's every time.
I mean, I don't really think here's the thing. I don't really think that wins of Farmer. I disagree on that particular case because we also have to remember that Devin Farmer have fought like 3 times in less than 1 year. So it's three training camps and 3 fights.
True, that's true. He's been busy. Yeah, he has for that. Yeah, true.
And here's the thing. I saw all credit to Scottfield. It is what it is. He knocked him out first round. But I think he also got lucky that he knocked him out in the first round, and the fight didn't go further because I think he's still very green, and I think it might sound a little bit facetious. I'm not trying to throw any shade to the young man, go to swim again. But the thing is, I think it was just a haymaker who just happened to land, and
we caught him cold. Yeah, you might have caught him cold.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when you saw the punch, it's not really like a textbook punch. It was just like a haymaker. If he wouldn't miss, it would have looked stupid. But
Farmer tried to get up too fast.
So I think. Wait, what?
I was gonna say because you're bringing that up, but I'm also gonna bring up. How do you know he didn't see the angle? He could see 2 different angles at the same time.
I think no, because he saw it. Because he stand up. It just once he stand up, he was able to recover.
But he got up too quick. He was making a joke. Where I'm gonna get up and he goes right into it. He should have been down for 8 seconds, hold on for life, and just get his legs back under him. But I don't know, man. It's just that survival, that the machismo mechanism kicked in, and he tried to get up too fast. He tried to say, "No, I'm not hurt," and boom, he got finished off.
I agree on that particular point. Yeah.
Like you said, he might have just been worn down from he's been a busy fighter going through grueling fights, and that being caught cold. I don't know, man. It's crazy. The first round, anything can happen because the fighters they can be cold. You know what I mean? Anything can happen when you're not adjusted yet. You're not ready, and then you take the first shot with the 8-ounce glove without headgear, and you get shocked.
If they fought again, it wouldn't happen again. Basically, I don't think. Yeah, it's one of those. It's maybe he wouldn't even win. I don't know. So you do get them. I don't want to say lucky knockouts because it's not like it's lucky, is it? He did his thing, but he got caught cold. Basically, he got caught cold. All right.
You get knocked out in the first round, you don't get an opportunity again. I promise you that.
But he has more power than Shakur. So when I saw him drop Zepeda, I was like, okay, well he's got more pop, but Shakur has no pop and he has brittle hands. So I don't think Zepeda has to really worry about what's coming back too much.
That's the thing, though. And that's one of the things that I hate when people bring up, he has these many knockouts. He's only a 50% and this like that. I hate when people say that because they make it out boxing like it's like a trading game or something like that. My fighter has
it's a stock.
My fighter has 90 attack, 75 defense. Wow, your fighter has this and that. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of stupid. If you ask me, I mean, people go by whatever they go. I don't really judge that per se, but to me, it's kind of stupid because the thing is, depending on your competition, that knockout goes out of the window. Pacquiao had around 50% knockout ratio. Even Canelo has around the 50% knockout ratio. Because once you get into the championship level, that knockout can't, not necessarily always, but can go out of the window automatically.
He's one-time tournament.
Exactly. That's another guy.
That's a perfect example.
I'm not sure. I've lost trust in Zepeda. I've seen some dodgy performance. I know he's a high volume, and that's going good for him against Shakur. But then
here's the thing about
got them nasty locks. The hugging, the locks. He'll be fucking spoiling the fight. He'll be But he's got a chance with that volume, but he's going to get negated, and they're going to let Shakur negate that high volume.
I mean, I'm going to tell you something about Shakur real quick. Shakur, he's really good defensively, but he has this particular issue that when he's throwing one punch at a time, he's very tight. But when he throw more than one punch, you can see, his hands all over the place. His backhand drop. He does a lot of bow and arrow. his hand is like all the way down to his hip when he took the uppercut.
So does Crawford.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
This is
like
a good example. I mean, look at Kavaliuskas. He's opening up. He's getting hit at the same time. He doesn't care because he's fighting smaller guys. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, Crawford's gonna get hurt. Crawford's gonna get hurt, man. I'm telling you, because if you look at that Spence fight when he fought Crawford was doing a lot of catching and shooting where he was rolling with the shots. Like that one shot he dropped Spence with the uppercut. It looked like he got hit, but he ended up countering and uppercutting, and seen in slow motion, he's like riding the shot, kind of blocking it. But he can't do that versus Canelo, man, because Canelo's way bigger and stronger. So if he does that, if he does what he normally does and with riding, catching, and shooting, dude, he's gonna get. We're gonna see him hurt, man. It's gonna be ugly.
Hey, Butcher, are you going to win tonight against the USA? You better do.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that game later, guys. In 15
minutes. You know what I'm saying? You can't be getting beat to your masters, the Americans.
No, we gotta win something.
You got to show the master you're the one. Yeah.
Quick thing, guys. Another thing is
Gulf of Mexico, not America.
Farmer has way more traps than Shakur because he plays traps with his footwork. And he knows how to like throw punches between your punches, something that Shakur is not necessarily like good at. He's good when he comes to like he's got like reflexes, but when he's doing that, he doesn't really punch back. And again, when he replies, is like one punch at a time, and when he does throw one punch, it's kind of slappy. So he's conceived the body punch to his opponents many times because he's not worried about his opponent because they're always smaller than him. So and you're gonna say about whatever you want about Zepeda's power because to me he's not really about like knocking him out with one punch. It's accumulative, but his body punch is nasty, especially going to the liver and attacking the floating rib, which is a really underrated part of the body. Like people really don't attack a lot, which you can break that rib and punch him along. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but even though Zepeda to me is kind of a slapper, but when he hits the targets when he attacks your body, he's a really devastating body puncher.
Man, I'm a proud American man, but I've never in my life ever rooted this much against American fighters in my life, bro. And that's where American boxing is right now, man. When I see Devin, I'm going for Zepeda, man. Like to beat Shakur. I'm going for Shiraz to beat Berlanga.
Technically, they're both American, but
I always say when it comes to boxing, you don't really have to go. It's not the World Cup, you don't have to choose the country. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I know, but I'm just saying, I never had such a distaste for American fighters than this era. Man, because if you look at the early 2000s HBO era, they were fucking warriors. And you look at the late 90s when I started getting into it, they were fucking warriors, man. The Vargas, De La Hoya, Trinidad, fucking Barrera, Morales, Pacquiao, Gotti, Ward.
I'm glad Southpaw brought that up because it's like, let's take Berlanga. Berlanga reminds me more of people I used to have beef with when I was growing up. Not
your friends. Come on, your friends.
But yeah, like he reminds me of that Puerto Rican dude who grew up on the other side of town, and we had beef. That's basically it.
That's a good analogy. That is.
You still train him. You still train him.
Activates his recognizes PTSD.
Listen, but I'm not here to tell you.
He starts cocking his gun and looking around like, where they at?
I'm not here to tell you Berlanga. I'm not here to tell you Berlanga's a pussy. He's definitely not. What I'm saying is his attitude. I don't like it. It's just
He's up himself. He's bling. He's a bling guy, isn't he? He's bling. Before he was anything, he was already blinged up. The shot. I mean, sharpest. You got to have. Don't blame for sharp haircuts. But he had all the diamonds and rings. She's like, fucking hell. Which one are you? Are you Big Pun? Are you a rapper? Or are you a boxer?
Fat Joe knows exactly.
Fat Joe, sorry, that's the one. Fat Joe.
Like Fat Joe, if him and Berlanga met each other in the ghetto, they would have beef. They would have beef with each other, 100%.
Hey, recognize, Art. Is Recognize a midget?
No, hell no.
No, I just saying, man, because you got the deepest voice on the internet. I'm like, Man, it'd be fucking crazy if this dude's like got the deepest voice on the internet. And he's like
right.
4'1".
Yeah, he's
Andy
5'4". He's 5'4".
He's 5'4". He
I'm
lied. He's
5'5".
6'2" or something.
Yeah,
which I
he's
never believe.
5'5".
I never.
No. That's my
I never
internet
told him.
persona. I'm really 5'5".
He's 5'5", 280.
No way, dude. No way. He sounds like he's fucking 7'8".
5'5", 110.
Hey guys, what is the DHS, by the way? DHS.
Hey, but recognize I when I see Berlanga, to me he's like the stereotypical New York, Puerto Rican man.
No, he's not. He's hell no. Hell
I got a word. I
promise you
don't want to
that.
offend
I
nobody.
promise
I
you that.
don't want to offend nobody, bro. But don't they call them N-word Ricans? N-word dash Ricans?
Well, okay, close enough. New York, yeah, they call them that, but New York Ricans, basically.
And bro, hey, and I feel you, bro, because we got in the Mexican, Hispanic, Mexican American culture, we got the same kind that the cholos, man, like they embarrass us, bro, with the high socks, the bald heads, the mustaches, and the goatees, with the flannels, bro. Like they
oh, come on.
Like those are our types that when we see them like out there, we're like, come on, bro.
We're hating on Bucho style, bro.
You see what I was saying about last night?
Hey, but
Never
tell me how
he's embarrassed by his own race.
When Jake Paul came out to lean like a cholo, bro, I was rolling.
Hey,
I will say though, I like those shoes. Those shoes they wear, those shoes are
about the American cholos, that grew up in these Southwest states with the accent and everything. He's the equivalent of that, but the Puerto Rican version of the Northeast. Like he's the ghetto. He's like the typical ghetto type.
So he's gay?
Teofimo would have grown up with the same environment there with the Puerto Ricans, wouldn't he?
Nah, he was raised in Florida. Like he pretty much was just he was just born in New York. Like he left the state like when he was like baby. So
Dude, Tio Senior didn't let him out
in Florida. In Florida, was he?
Yeah, like that's why he doesn't really speak with that New York accent.
Yeah, I am surprised. You know what I'm surprised about him, Tio, and I was very impressed, is his Spanish. He speaks very good Spanish. I'll never forget his interview he did on Honduras TV when he won his title. He went there and did a tour. He was on the TV shows doing, speaking the lingo like that. No problem.
If we call what we call no sabos, right? It's really the Latinos who've been here, the ethnicity that's been here like 4 or 5 generations already, right? Like the Mexicans in the West Coast, the Puerto Ricans in the East Coast. And to a certain degree, you're starting to see that now with Dominicans that have been here. Now they're creeping into the Nosa. Their kids don't know a fucking word of Spanish. So
that's what I was very impressed with him because Latinos born in America, they don't necessarily. They sometimes lose that language, Spanish, and Tio speaks very good Spanish. He does.
Tio's from Honduras, and my experience with a lot of people from there, they're still relatively new, as in compared to, let's say, the Puerto Ricans and the Mexicans. Let's just say that. And so you're going to find more bilingual, like a guy who can speak English perfectly and Spanish too.
I mean, it comes from home, isn't it? If your mom and dad speak to you.
But Honduran and Salvadorian Spanish sounds so bad. Sounds so nasty.
Say again?
Honduran and Salvadorian Spanish sounds so bad. It sounds like they're like just vomiting at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, language is a big thing, man. Like I think the boxing, now that the Eastern Europeans are fucking taking over, and UFC's going through the same problem. Dana's having a hard time selling these Eastern European grapplers that are coming in. That they're beating all their guys. You can't sell them. How do you sell that? You can't sell them. They don't speak English. They don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of Latinos in America,
and because of hold on a minute. Most importantly, because of their religion, most of them are Muslim. Them Khabibs, they're all Muslim. Then they lack the flamboyance, and the only so much they can say. This, that, you know, yeah, they
They
kind
are
of different.
they are flamboyant.
Yeah.
Very conservative.
They
Yeah,
are
like
flamboyant.
what's
They
his
have that
name?
Abraham Lincoln look.
Bertebiev, he's another one, Mr. Quiet. I want to pray all day long. I'm going to do my prayers. I come back, I go pray, train, pray. That's their motto.
Yeah, nobody cares about that shit, man.
Yeah, no one cares that. So there's no
it's like,
panache. There's no
People want-
fucking, you know, I mean, electricity.
unfortunately.
I mean, if they bring the knockouts,
they want
that'll
drama.
help them. If they bring
That's
the knockouts,
that's why Dana's.
They don't bring the knockouts. Most of them are boring.
Yeah, they're wrestlers. They wrestle bears. They're wrestlers, aren't they? Most of them.
Yeah.
You know, that's
I mean,
why
some of them
Dana
are
is
exciting.
desperate
Don't get me wrong.
Dana's desperate to promote that Liverpool guy because he's got that Conor McGregor swag. You know, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name.
I think he likes to promote them because he's paying penny on the dollar. That's why pennies on the dollar. No, honestly,
still, man.
That's true. That's true.
He's paying pennies on the dollar. That's why he's promoting them.
They cheap champions. That's a fact. All them Eastern Bloc guys, they're very cheap champions. Facts.
Is that attracting new fans? Is that attracting fans? I don't know. You guys tell me.
I don't think so.
No, it's not very attracting. That's why they said UFC numbers were declining, which they have been. Then it's not crazy. People keep saying it's crazy. The numbers have been declining. You know, in UFC also, they're lacking the personalities in the game.
I think it's too many shows too. They're doing where it's just when it was the new thing, and Mayweather helped kind of like turn boxing casuals off to the MMA world, and then they had their stars and their little run. But now it's getting to the point where it's kind of fizzling out, and people are just like they're starting to kind of get bored of it almost, man, because it's like too much. They had cards every week. It's crazy.
I don't know. I think that era of UFC was better. If I had to go side by side, I thought that era was better.
Yeah, you had more strikers back then. Now it's being dominated by wrestlers. Yeah.
Even the Brazilians, even the Brazilians, they pay in peanuts because they come from the slums. You know, they're desperate. They want to make it in America, but they pay in peanuts. This Dana's a rip-off merchant. He's known for paying them hardly for what they deserve, so to speak.
Yeah, because what's that shit called? A union. You know, the fighter union. Look how dirty he did Randy Couture. Randy Couture tried to start his own fighter union with like a group of other UFC fighters and former UFC fighters. He wasn't able to be there for his son debut at UFC.
Well, he fucked over Stitch Duran too. He ousted Stitch Duran from the UFC.
Yeah, I brought that up before. He's not the guy, dude. He flips flops way too much. He's not the guy.
But the thing is, American boxing has gotten so bad that it's almost like we did it to ourselves, and we paved the way for a guy like Jake Paul and for a guy like Dana White to come in because the politics and the fighters aren't warriors anymore. You know?
Yeah, but if you get Dana White, especially at his state right now,
he'll just ruin it. He'll just make it worse.
Exactly. He's gonna make it worse.
He'll just make it worse.
Some good things.
He'll make it worse.
Can we go through the list of who's not a warrior? Like who's holding back? Who's not taking challenges? Can we just throw out a few names?
Can we do the dogometer?
All right, let's do the dogometer.
The biggest name of all that it's an absolute piss take I think it's Shakur. I think.
Devin.
To me, Shakur, Haney. Shakur is the biggest faggot of all.
Here's your issue though.
Hold on. I wouldn't say that because he's about to fight Zepeda. I would say at the top of the list is Gervonta Davis.
Since Zepeda, yeah.
I'm saying,
Gervonta
Davis hasn't fucking fought anybody, bro.
Put him on the dogometer. Where is he on the dogometer?
Yeah, but here's your issue with the dogometer. What kind of dog? A Chihuahua, a fucking Greyhound, or a pit bull? What kind of dog?
Gervonta Davis, the top of the list, bro.
So he's a dog?
Who's your guy, Sobers?
I said at the top of the list is Gervonta Davis. He hasn't taken any challenge.
Hey, that's
he hasn't fought one active champion at one legit active lightweight champion. There's been 2 generations of undisputed champions that have come and gone. We're on a 3rd generation of champions. If he doesn't fight Keyshawn Davis, if he doesn't fight what's the other dude? If he doesn't fight Shakur Stevenson and they leave the division, that's going to be like 3 generations of champions where they've come and gone, and he didn't fight any of them, bro. He doesn't fight nobody. He don't fight
He's
nobody.
the regular baby champion, isn't he? That's what he's known for. Regular baby.
The undisputed
Crazy that is.
Champion.
How they managed to promote him with a baby belt all along.
Because
Incredible.
they're putting all their resources behind him, just like they did with Benavidez. But the jig is up. Like they just don't have any money. They just poured everything they had into those guys, and mostly into Gervonta Davis. And they have nothing left. They've squandered all that money they had.
Okay, but who has dog then? Who does have
Roach
dog?
is gonna beat Tank in the rematch. Lamont Roach is he gonna win?
I don't. Are they gonna rematch still?
Oh, he's gonna get knocked out.
I don't know when.
I heard that's stalling out. The Team Davis is stalling out.
But
yeah,
isn't that the most logical fucking fight, or
they're
have you
stalling
heard
out.
anything else?
They're stalling out because of the interest in Jake Paul.
The thing is, the rematch makes no sense because that Norman, it's clear whoever his name, to beat Tank, you would need to knock him out. Look how much they're wrong the dude already.
I mean,
he's got no hope. He's got no chance. He's got no chance.
He lost even without the knockdown. He still lost the fight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So how the hell him the fight?
Yeah, no,
they're
gonna fuck over Lamont Roach.
Yeah,
so Lamont Roach has got
Tank will do it better, maybe
for way more money. I wouldn't negotiate for a lot more money. I'd negotiate for if he does such a good gate. He does shit pay-per-view, but if he does such a good gate like they say he does, if I was Lamont Roach, I'd want half the gate or more because who really won the fight. If you want to redeem yourself against me. In the court of public opinion, everyone thinks that I beat you even without the drop. Now you have to redeem yourself. If you really want to care about your reputation, you got to pay me more.
Out of all the cherry picks that Tank does, Lamont Roach might be his kryptonite.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. I might sound crazy, but I thought Isaac Cruz won that fight.
I think so too.
Cruz also was a good contender, but I think that Lamont Roach kind of ran away with the fight a lot more than Isaac Cruz. With Isaac Cruz, it was really close. I thought that was a legit draw. Or
yeah, I scored that. I don't know about you guys, but I scored that 6-5-1.
I had a 7-5. I had a 7-5
for Tank.
No, for Cruz.
For Cruz. Yeah, I could see that.
A lot of those punches that people thought were landing.
I could have seen that fight either way because
a lot of the punches that people thought were landing, Cruz was blocking. Yeah, he was
they were being carried. Yeah, exactly.
Listen, he did block a lot of hands.
I do believe that Tank hurt his hand.
He did
landing on his guard, He purposely hurt Tank's hand. That's called do that on purpose.
I don't know if he purposely did it, but that's the way he was blocking his uppercuts, and that's a great move. And what happened was, listen, when you throw a punch, you don't clench your fist the entire time and you're in your guard. Your hands are loose. You only make a fist right before impact. And what happened was Cruz bent down a little further. He kind of leaned into the punch. And when Gervonta Davis went to punch him, right before he made that fist, he caught Gervonta's hand right before he made the fist. And he fucked up his hand. That's where he fucked up his hand. Because you don't fuck up your hand normally when you have a clenched fist throwing a punch. You fuck up your hand when something hits your glove or the guy's head or you hit the guy's guard right before you clench your hand, and that's what fucked up his hand. And with all that said, I think Gervonta Davis did a pretty good job outboxing him for like one round with one hand. I saw that, and that kind of narrowed the gap for me a little bit because he was running, so he wasn't there to get hit anymore. So I thought it was a pretty close fight.
Yeah, all these dudes with undefeated records, they all got an asterisk. I've seen them lose fights. And I don't give a fuck what the fans say. I don't give a fuck what their fans say. I've been watching boxing long enough to know how to score a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I mean, Haney has clearly lost fights. I mean, there's no doubt. Yeah, he's lost no doubters.
And he's just not the real article. He's not the real article. He's a manufactured fighter. The dad is his biggest advocate, and that's how it should be. You know, they want to keep the money machine going.
Yeah,
but a lot of people don't believe in that guy. Just his own fans. I've seen his fans turn their back on him. Like, I know guys that were big fans of Devin Haney at the gym, and they don't like Devin Haney anymore. They don't care if they like, hey, Devin Haney's fighting. Who cares? They don't really care. Like, nobody cares about
they can smell a fraud when
exactly. They can smell the fraud.
Yeah, they can smell it. They're like, this dude's a fraud.
It's pretty bad, I think, and they're not the only ones though. Recognize they're not the only ones, man. You know, like Garcia has been a fraud. I don't think anybody they've done a horrible job of hiding that. You know, the guy is a total fraud. He's only big. He's an Instagram boxer. The other guy that's a fraud is I don't know. I mean, I can't say Teofimo. I can't go that far. They're annoying. Teofimo and his team, they're annoying as fuck, and I can't stand them. But I can't say that they're frauds because he actually takes fights. He doesn't look good in all his fights, but he does fight some better opposition. That's what I'll say.
What makes Ryan Garcia a fraud is his lack of dedication to the craft of boxing. He can actually be better than what he is. So when you don't take your craft serious, you're not a serious fighter, and that's why he'll do stupid shit like fucking land, basically not show up after he got knocked down against Rolly and quit against Tank, right? He quit against Tank. Obviously, I'll give him a little bit of an excuse. He was drained, but that basically told me he knew he couldn't win the fight, and he took the fight. Yeah,
he took the knee because he got right up after 10. He sprung up right after 10. Dude, you could have gotten up 3 seconds. You could have 3 seconds earlier. You could have gotten up 2 seconds earlier. But you didn't. Yep. You chose to stay down because you knew you didn't have what it took to fight this guy. You didn't have the mental fortitude to march forward. And we all saw that again with Rolly. He got knocked down. He didn't have the mental fortitude to do it. He's given up. And with Luke Campbell, I like that fight. I think, okay, the kid's going to get somewhere. He's building momentum. And I was like, okay. And then he took all that time off, and then the mental illness bullshit. And then the downward spiral began after that. I don't know why. That wasn't like the best win in the world. It was a decent win for a up-and-coming fighter. The Luke Campbell win was a decent win for a guy coming up, but it wasn't like the best win, like a milestone on your record by no means. But that's when you started seeing the downward spiral right after that happened. And I don't think the guy's been pretty much a fraud ever since.
Yeah, that's what I brought up earlier. If you actually would have won his biggest fights, we'd be talking about Ryan Garcia as the next, superstar right now. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
He killed his own career.
Yeah, totally, man. He's his own worst enemy. That's his own worst enemy because that speed, and if you're learning a little bit more, if you just move your head off center line just a little bit more, you're going to evade some shots. And with that speed and power, you could put a lot of people away. I'm not saying you're going to be undisputed champion, but at least you'll be world champion with that speed and that power. Just move your head, learn a little bit more, learn a little bit more of the craft of boxing. Pay attention to your coaches. Guy thought he knew everything, and that just makes him a big fraud. That makes him a big phony walking around thinking he's I don't know. I mean, there's just too much of it going on, and I'm not into it. I think Shakur's thing is just he lacks commitment because I think he does hurt himself. I think it's those hands. Maybe that's what happened with De Los Santos. He didn't want to go in there, and maybe he was hurt already going in there. I don't know. He was very apprehensive, and we've seen what happens with guys that are apprehensive because they have injuries. They don't engage. Shiraz didn't want to engage. Shakur didn't want to engage. A lot of guys, when they're really hurt going into a fight, they don't want to engage. And you got to have that dog, and they just don't have it. Unfortunately, these guys aren't gonna. They don't have it now. They're not gonna have it later. Plus, if you guarantee a guy $3 million, do you think he's gonna want to really fight if he put himself at risk?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're not gonna want to roll the dice. So I don't know. I have very low, although I didn't see the Tevin Farmer knockout.
Do you guys think Ryan Garcia's on something? Because I think he's on antidepressants or some shit.
I think they're all on something, dude. I think any guy at the top level is on something.
No, but I mean,
they're
like,
all on roids.
like,
All of those.
Yeah, he's got bipolar disorder. He's
I think
probably
his
on,
new
like,
style is fucking ass. I hope he retires.
Yeah, I think he said something about he's on like mirtazapine, which that's an antidepressant.
Who?
Yeah, I think he's on something because he like, I don't know if you guys ever follow him on Twitter. He's always between, like, being really high level,
who are you
happy,
talking
or
about?
very low level sad.
You're talking about Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, you're talking about Ryan Garcia being on some prescription drug.
Oh, probably, dude. Listen, man. The guy, he's in his 20s. He's been supporting his whole fucking family, dude.
That's true.
They don't work. Nobody works. Nobody does shit. They're sponging off that kid. All of them. The dad, the mom, the sister, the brother, all of them, dude.
Yeah, but he's still
Nobody
making a lot
works.
of money. I think they're all spenders, man. They can't fucking save money.
And they're all spenders. The dad's
he's making millions. Yeah.
The dad's a piece of shit. Like, dude, the dad's a total piece of shit. They're just
What are you saying?
they're family, bro. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, dude. They just want to squeeze more money out of the kid.
And
So
the
I'd be
lawsuits, I mean, that's not cheap, right?
The what?
The lawsuits are not cheap as fuck. I mean,
Oh, the lawsuits. Yeah, that's not cheap. Dude, you got to spend all that money in litigation. You got to hire a good lawyer, and they're gonna just drain you, bro. It's awful.
Yeah, it's all stress on top of that, right? Like more stress. I don't know.
More stress on top of it. He's non-committal. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to train all the time. He's
right.
not. He's not dependable. If your coach tells you to be there at 9, he's not going to be there at 9. He's going to go in for. We've been hearing this about Ryan Garcia for a long time already.
He's not enjoying it, right? Basically, that's what you're saying. I mean, some boxers, I mean, sure. I mean, you don't want to really train, but you got to do it because you understand. These guys, like, I'm not going to show up on time. And there's multiple trainers.
Have you ever seen that like small documentary he has? Like his dad forced him into this. He didn't want to do this.
Ryan?
Oh yeah, I think apparently the same shit. I don't think he really wanted to box. You've seen
his dad kept forcing him into it.
Yeah,
his dad manipulated him with the acceptance. Like maybe my dad will accept me if I fight.
Oh,
and even
exactly.
And even in the documentary, his dad was like, "Nah, Oscar was good, but you know what? If he fought Chavez in his prime, he wouldn't have beat him." I was like, "That's your kid, dude. He's shithead."
He's saying that to pump he's. I mean, he's probably saying that because in his mind he's like, that's gonna help my son improve or something. But he also understands that that's actually counterproductive. Saying that stuff.
No, dude, it's fucked up. Some of these guys have a shitty relationship with their dads, and it's really fucked up, dude. But like, I'm sure right now, Devin Haney's dad's trying to milk whatever he can milk out of the kid. And after he's done, then who knows?
Like he doesn't give a shit about his son or something. I don't know. Maybe
He don't, bro. His son married a high-end prostitute. Let that
exactly.
Shit.
How as a father do you fail at that if you're a pimp?
I mean,
and your son marries a prostitute. You're a pimp. You're a pimp. And you let your son marry a prostitute. How do you
here's the thing, though. I mean, I get it, and this is like one of the first things I said myself, but also, even though like Devin Haney doesn't seems like it, but he's a grown ass man too. He probably was trying to get in with this woman and like grow a family himself. And this is just me thinking, into like a way to escape his family. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I think it's probably like that he got shot in the ass, like trying to do that stupid.
Devin Haney has no game, dude. Devin Haney has no game.
Yeah, he's corny.
It's like an ongoing. It's an ongoing.
He's annoying.
People. Yeah, it's an ongoing joke with people that he probably DMs the fucking OnlyFans women asking him if they want to go to his fight.
Hey, wait, no,
hey,
wait.
hey,
Don't
you want to go to
there
my
was literally a
fight?
thing like that. There was like a thing like that last year.
Yeah.
Like some
Hey,
girl called him out on that.
Fight? I'm a pro boxer.
Yeah, he was trying to invite like this OnlyFans girl to a fight.
Yeah, dude, that's him. That's what he does. Unlike Rolly, Rolly gets ass.
That's probably true.
The guy's like talking about eating chicks out and getting a blowjob in front of his mom, dude. In front of his mom.
We know Virgil Ortiz does for sure, though.
Virgil Ortiz.
Oh,
Ortiz is just cool. He keeps it low key.
Except that thing.
He's not. I don't consider Virgil Ortiz one of these dudes, though. That's the thing. I think Virgil Ortiz definitely has a lot more going on with his skill,
He
and
keeps in the house. You know, he's not out there basically. So
what? That he's marrying a prostitute?
Well, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, these guys have to be a little bit more. They need a PR manager.
Well, they do, but we're talking about Virgil Ortiz. Like he's not very flashy. He's not very flashy. He bought like a Mustang. You know, he buys a Mustang. He buys guitars. He doesn't buy jewelry. He's not all about going to the club and getting bottle service. Yeah, he's not flashy. Virgil Ortiz is not a flashy guy at all. He goes and eats at taquerias. He goes to the lunch truck and eats there. He's not a flashy guy. He's a normal dude.
He eats ass too. Don't forget that.
He eats ass too. I mean, hey.
That picture is not in, but that shit's hella funny though.
This is so funny.
Can you post that on the stream or no?
No.
Fuck, man.
No.
I don't fucking post that.
That shit has me dying every time I see it.
You could probably edit it and then post it if you edit the part of that.
What am I gonna edit? Like it's the ass?
Edit groceries, a little bag of groceries.
Oh, that's gonna make sense.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, eating groceries.
Just pull a pile of cocaine and he's dipping his nose on it.
Dumb addresses. See the little chat here on this side.
I don't see it. Hold on, let me see it. I don't see shit, dude.
No, what? Pucho, what is your prediction on the Mexico game today? Be honest.
2-0.
2-0? Who wins?
Mexico. No, the US didn't bring their A team, so I mean Mexico should win.
But Mexico always chokes, bro.
Yeah, they choke. We shall see. What else, man? How long have we been on here? 3 hours and 51 minutes. Jesus.
Well, I'm gonna bow out. See you guys later.
Yeah, this is probably a good place to stop it.
All right.
So what are the final predictions for Zepeda versus Shakur? Are you taking them, Bucho?
Yeah, let's end it on that.
We'll take them tomorrow or during the week. Like we'll do another show. We'll write them down.
Can we do one of those PowerPoints where we see who does what, who got swept, better jab, better what, better
that's a good
feet?
idea. No, BBA is gonna probably do that. Then I'll tell him. Yeah, he's good at that shit. Like,
yeah, you can do that and then do afterwards like a call-in.
I can do it too.
It's like people
Yeah,
predictions.
I want to take calls. I want to take phone calls. That's the most exciting part of the thing. We can have a prediction show and then we can have another show where we compare the comparative analysis. We can do that. All right, good idea. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.